has picked up, and there's been a little bit of a headwind today for the athletes in the long jump, and also with those trees there, that breeze with the running events as well. So we have 15 finals on this evening session, 5 in the field, 10 on the track. The women's shot put F33 gets us underway. Women's long jump T63. We'll see Vanessa Lowe of Australia, formerly of Germany, the world and Paralympic champion, going in that one. We'll have men's javelin throw F13 and discus F64. The women's 200 metres T36 will also take to the track as well, along with the T53 and T54 wheelchair finals in the 400 for the women. Later on, we'll have Amara Duran, who'll be going in the women's 100 metres T12 final. Never lost a final at a major championship, has the Cuban. 31 golds, no silvers or bronze. That tells you something. I'm Tolson Tollett. Will Downing is alongside me, and Steph Reid as well, the former Great Britain and Canadian athlete who took gold in the long jump back in 2017, and that will be one of the events we'll be focusing on this evening, the T63 women's long jump. We'll head out to that very shortly and introduce you to the athletes. That's a wonderful panoramic view there down the stadium from the south, looking back towards the north there. We'll have seated category events as well. The track will really get underway once we get into the swing of things, but it's the field we'll be concentrating on to start with. And Will Downing will take you through the opening event of the evening, which is the women's shot put F33 final. That promises to be something special. The Paralympic champion Asmahan Bujadar and the European champion Johanna Oleksic will go in this one.
And we've got 7 going in this final, starting with longest in the world this year, jointly, Fouza El Kazioui of Morocco, Asmahan Boudijar of Algeria. Good libel candidate here as well, 7:10 lifetime best, one of only 2 who hold that status. The other thrower of 6:85 this year we've just seen, Joanna Oleksiuk of Poland, and Sarah Al-Shnabi of the United Arab Emirates. Regularly in the medals, Zhao of China, Qian Zhao, 6:48 her lifetime best this year. Or if she hits her stride, she'll be well into the medals. Maria Strong, we've already seen succeed in the T72. That's the frame running, the race running. Her first track gold in that. She's 52 years old as well. And Antti Liagu of Greece wraps things up. She will be the 7th to throw in this opening round. So Maria Strong is one of the few rare athletes that we have ever seen to hold 2 dual categories simultaneously. 72 for the track, 33 for the field. It is a seated event. It is coordination impairment. And because of that, the athletes will sit in. It will take a little while to get strapped in, and they will take all their throws at once. And I noticed that the introduction of Steph Reid was considerably longer than mine, but then you've done more than me, and you've more medals than me. And this is an event which always generates a huge amount of excitement, and what will hold yours tonight across the competitions?
Well, I think what's great about what we're seeing now is just everyone loves a little bit of behind the scenes, the behind the scene reel. And the benefit of being here in person is that you get to see all of the different ways that the athletes warm up, especially in the field event, because they actually come out to the field events probably about 30 to 40 minutes in advance. For the sprinters and the runners, they'll come out maybe 5 or 10 minutes beforehand, just long enough to get their blocks set up. But what we're seeing here is right now the athletes are just getting strapped into their chair. And the unique thing about the seated throwing events is that the athlete will take all 6 of their throws at once. And this is mostly just due to logistics. You can see that it's quite a process to get strapped in in many ways that chair is going to become part of their body. It's going to be the foundation for that throw, and you can see those orange straps which have secured that chair to the throwing circle. And right now, the athlete El Casiswa is just getting herself strapped to the chair, because as we've been educating you more about the seated throwers events, one of the nuances of this event is that there is a butt judge. Yes, somebody will be looking quite closely to ensure that there is no lifting from that seat. They have to keep the back of their thigh in contact with that seat at all times.
Practice throws as well allowed in the early exchanges of this. Get them out of the way and you can then begin your competition. You have a break at halfway as usual.
Yeah, 4 minutes is the allotted time once the athlete is strapped in and happy with how they are. They'll have 4 minutes to take some throws, and the clock is already down to, well, just over a minute and a half at the moment. So that's one of the difficulties with this event. Once you get yourself sorted and you've got that 4 minutes and it starts ticking down, you can have as many throws as you want. There's the clock there just away to the right as we see it, 1:21 counting downwards. So once it gets down to 0, it'll be business mode.
I mean, looking at her strap there, that is without doubt the biggest crank we have ever seen on a strap. She wants to be very secure in that.
Yeah, and it's only a minor infraction which will bring about a foul as well. We have seen some throwers who have had 6 fouls. Now, it's not unheard of. And what happens after the first 3 is they'll get a chance to readjust themselves, but we have had fouls in all 6 attempts. So it is a intricate, difficult situation to try and make sure that everything is down, your backside, your legs, and nothing moves except your upper body when you're throwing the shot.
And she has come prepared, actually. We saw there that she had that towel just sitting on her seat with her. I wonder, the track looks pretty dry, but it did rain quite a bit. I wonder if the grass is wet, and that's just a little bit of foresight in terms of ensuring she is getting maximum grip, maximum contact with that shot.
Well, it did absolutely downpour earlier. Believe it or not, I was lying down for about 10 minutes, so I do rest every now and then. And it absolutely bucketed down, but the track area is perfectly dry. There is a breeze, of course, and the breeze is quite strong tonight. It's the strongest breeze we've actually had. And it is really drying everything out and will be perfect conditions for throwing. The breeze itself is stronger than any day. It's evening of day 8, and we've rarely had anything. Maybe just afternoon in the evening session a little bit, this morning a little bit, but this tonight is actually the strongest breeze we have had so far, and you can actually feel it. And you can see with the windsock away to our left, and we'll get a shot on shortly, no doubt, is that you can tell that the wind is much stronger than it has been.
Now, I know we talk about weather a lot, and we do love weather, but the reality is this is an outdoor sport. The elements matter. It's part of it. Wind seriously affects performances. Rain can affect performances, and it is a consideration every time you look at results. I always look at the results and then immediately look at the weather and the wind conditions.
Well, there's the first throw of the evening session. It's from the bronze medalist from 2019. We are underway in this women's shot put F33 final. Fouzia El Kassi of Morocco. Her season best is 6.85, opening up with a 6.42, so her lifetime best is 7.41. So she's got a bit of work to do, and sometimes with these throws, Steph, you see that the very first one is sometimes their best throw, whereas you see others who work their way up into it as they go through their 6.
Every athlete has their own process, and I always think one of the best things about watching athletics is that you see that there are several different paths to excellence, and some athletes will come out and the adrenaline's pumping and you just have that freedom and you're ready to go, and yeah, that is your biggest throw, whereas other athletes like to in the field just kind of work their way through and make those little adjustments, and you kind of know as an athlete who is dangerous in the first round and who is dangerous in the 6th round. And it's those 6th round throwers that can sometimes really change your plans.
And that's one of the nuances of the seeded events, is if you go first, the person you're battling against, in effect, is yourself, because you're trying to get as far as possible and trying to put distance literally between you and the other person who's throwing it after you, or the other 6 in this occasion.
Exactly. Once El Kassaoui has taken all 6 of her throws, she has to come off the chair, and all she can do now is sit and wait, and she will not be able to respond to anything else that happens in the competition.
Now, I told you that some throwers generally have their best throw in their first up one. 6.42 with her opener, 15 centimetres worse off with her second throw of 6.27. And what will happen after throw number 3 here is El Kassaoui will be given a chance to have a drink, reassess. If she needs to reposition herself, she can do that, and then they will go again for the final 3 throws. So the Moroccan bronze medalist back in 2019 at the last World Championships in Dubai. And that one's not too dissimilar to her opening attempt. You can see that 7-metre mark a little bit further out to the right of where that landed as you look at it on the screen. This is a wonderful shot as the third effort goes out. Such effort goes into it, and you heard the scream when she let go.
Some of the best weightlifting advice I ever got was to scream as you're lifting. It actually increases the amount or your strength when you're lifting.
Novak Djokovic got a point taken off him in the Wimbledon semi-final the other day for grunting.
Well, that was...
when he hit the ball.
Is that for putting off his opponent?
That was what it was for, yes. He still won. Didn't make a difference in the end. We'll leave it just there. Just to let you know, 6.34 for El Kassaoui, the Moroccan there with that third attempt in the women's shot put F33 final. We're going to roll around the track as you would from the 200-metre mark, and this is into the home straight. The crowd on your right, imagine you're going down there, long jumping with the crowd there on your right, clapping away. Put yourself in that position. You too could be there one day. We're now going to get the introductions of the women's long jump T63 final. Has Vanessa Loh, formerly of Germany, formerly a European champion. She now competes for Australia. She's the Paralympic and world champion as the introductions are made for this T63 event.
Yeah, Vanessa Loh, who has been a global champion for Germany numerous times, and she is now the reigning world and Paralympic champion for Australia. Kaida Magawa of Japan, who finished 5th in the Paralympic final 2 years ago, and silver in the long jump 2 years ago. Martina Caroni, who won silver here this week in the 100 metres. She knows her colours well. Perennial world champion, time and again. Tomomi Tomasawa, 4th in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo, bronze in the long jump of the last World Championships. Elena Kratter of Switzerland, 5th in the 100 metres here, silver in the 100 and the long jump in the last Europeans in Bydgoszcz. Also a very good skier. Fleur Schouten, good to see her back as well. The European bronze long jump medalist in 2018. And Desiree Bila of Spain. She also made the Paralympic final, couldn't reach into the top 5 in the end, and she won bronze in the last Europeans 2 years ago. Her autobiography is already out, actually, which is not bad going for a 25-year-old, and it's called The Only Incurable Thing is the Will to Live. And for Vanessa Loh, the only incurable thing is the will to win. She's done this time and again. 2015 champion in the long jump in Doha. That was for Germany, did it for Australia in 2019, and likewise won Paralympic title for Germany and Australia. She moved in 2018. And you kind of wonder how these things sometimes go when you're changing nationality. And the story goes is that it was someone quite important in Australia who said, hang on a sec, if she wants to compete for Australia, she should compete for Australia. Okay, give her a passport. Anyway, more importantly, here's her first round attempt. She's the world record holder, 5:28. That world record right at the end of the Paralympic final in Tokyo.
I can neither confirm nor deny that story, but I can tell you this, you have to get citizenship before you get a passport. We'll leave it at that. Vanessa Loh was once sitting in the chair of Steph Reid, the 2017 World Para-Athletics Championships in London.
Yeah, I was just thinking, she probably commentated on me jumping during the London 2017
I watched it today, and she did.
Oh. Well, that is her coach there and husband, Scott Reardon. And I have to say, I have a huge amount of respect for coaching relationships that involve family relationships because they are not easy to manage.
Brent Lakatos this is, in case you're wondering, who goes in the T53 final later on this evening, 800. He's just showing her the jump there and just going through the actual process of what's happened. Didn't Brent coach you for a day?
Brent did coach me for a day. However, he was nowhere near as good as Scott Reardon with his long jump knowledge. Scott Reardon there has a camera, and he was just showing Vanessa some biomechanics feedback, and Brent unfortunately did not actually know where the foul line was.
And how good was Scott Reardon? Perennially, he was the world and Paralympic 100 meters champion. Maegawa going now for Japan, who was 5th in the Paralympic final in Tokyo, which was a real thriller. It was a brilliant night. Going in this opening round, I think she's gone too far. She has gone too far.
So one of the most important things at the start of a long jump final is establishing your runway. And about 30 to 40 minutes before the event started, the athletes were allowed out, and they come and they're given an opportunity to measure out the runway and set it up, because even though you know where that mark is supposed to be, conditions are always different, the track is always different. And Vanessa, we saw, while her jump was valid, she was well behind the board. In this case, Maegawa was unfortunately over the board, and that was a foul, and she's going to now have a conversation with her coach about what to do. Does she need to move her mark forward, or does she just need to put a bit more power into that runway?
Now, one of Vanessa Lowe's great rivals, Martina Cairoli, is next up, and well, she has a silver medal already from these championships. I suspect she's looking to get one over on Vanessa Lowe. Cairoli, a silver medalist in that 100 metres. She took the gold in the Europeans back in 2018. There's that wind, by the way, we were talking about on the windsock. Just look how it's floating around, then it stops, and then it moves again. And of course, you can take your time and wait for that wind to die down.
Yes, each athlete will be given 60 seconds. Right now, Cairoli has just started, and often you want to wait until that wind is in your favor. And you can see there again, Cairoli was a little bit behind the board. I do wonder if perhaps the wind is playing into it, or perhaps it really is just World Championship final nerves.
Well, the windsock was completely calm then when she went, so it was very good timing because it picked up just after she went. So 4:66 championship record in her very first jump for Martina Cairoli. So brilliant start from Cairoli.
So we've got a very long night for these athletes. It is the men's 100 meters T54. The final ends of tonight's session. We have a couple of DNSs in this, curiously, and it's not the first time today that's happened. So 4 instead of 6 go in this. In lane 3 for Japan, in his third World Championship, it's Tomoki Ikoma. In lane 4 for Saudi Arabia, 4th in the last Asian Games in Jakarta in 2018. This is Jaman Al-Zourani. In lane 5 for Thailand. In the heats of the 400 and the 5,000 here, Pipapong Sanglam. No Yasser Musanganya of France in lane 6. In 7, a man who's competed in 3 World Championships. First was in 2006. 3 Paralympic Games. The last was London 2012 for Ghana. But welcome back. In Kegbe, Botsio, and we do not have Malang Tamba in lane 8. He was only competing in the 100 meters here. So Ikoma, Al-Zourani, Siang Lam, and Botsio are the 4 who go in this. And it's the first 2 in each heat, and the next 2 fastest who advance to the final in around 2.5 hours' time. And they're away. Not a bad start, I have to say, from Al-Zourani of Saudi Arabia. 14:28, his lifetime best set this year. It's only the top 2 guaranteed. Al-Zourani looking good, and Ikoma as well for Japan, and they're into the final. 14 36.55. And that was reasonably straightforward. The main favourite, the perennial champion, goes in heat 3 of this. The curiosity about that heat actually is that nobody, even if they'd had the full and proper field in it, actually won a major championship medal before. And that doesn't happen very often at all at this level. Al-Zerani taking it, Akoma second. It's quite straightforward in the end.
It was quite straightforward, and it's disappointing that we did have those two DNSs. And just right there, well, we could see the difference between Al-Zerani and the other athlete in terms of the gloves, but we'll just take a break and go right to the javelin.
Men's javelin throw F13. There are 13 set to go in this. We'll come back to the T54s in a short while. Osvaldas Kukavicius of Lithuania, lifetime best set this year of 50.25. Daniel Pembroke of Great Britain, the Paralympic champion from Tokyo 2020. His lifetime best of 69.52, season best 63.33. Aguilera Cruz of Cuba, 58.47 is thrown this year. Jackson Hamilton of Australia, 58.60, his lifetime best he set this year for the 20-year-old. Ali Perouge, silver medal in 2020, behind Daniel Pembroke. Orkan Gasimov of Azerbaijan, haven't they had a championships? 5th in 2020. Sajad Nikparast, silver medalist in 2012 and 16 at the Paralympic Games, silver back in 2017 in London. Ernst of Moldova. The 9th of the competitors from Romania, Octavian Tukilic, 52.20 for him. Marek Vitecki, silver medalist back in 2019. He's medalled for the last 5 or 6 years in major competitions. Hector Cabrera, also a big medalist over the past 5 or 6 years. Manjeet of India, they've had a good games as well. 52.83 for Manjeet, his lifetime best. And Woko Yuta, season best 60.03, over that mark set, which is a lifetime best for him. 13 to go shortly.
Well, Al-Zerani taking that victory in his heat, 14.54. Akoma in second place, 14.61.
So you could just see right there from Siang Lang of Thailand, he was putting so much power into the chair. He was going in and out of that lane. He lost a lot of speed, unfortunately, by cutting in and out of his lane like that. He wasn't quite going in a straight line, but that is just part of the skill set of this 100 meters. And just a quick note on those two DNSs. Now, we don't know why they didn't start, but one of the reasons an athlete may not start is if they get to the call room and the technical officials determine that their chair doesn't quite meet standards. If they aren't able to fix it quickly, then unfortunately it is a DNS.
Great assessment, Steph. Al-Zerani taking it, Akoma going through as well. 14.54 and 14.61. Siang Lang will have to wait, but only 100th outside. The long jump continuing to hot up.
Well, the last time we were there, it was Martina Caironi with her very first jump who broke the championship record. Now you have to remember there's a T63s, Vanessa Lowe's a T61. Caironi broke the championship record in the T63 category. Which was 4:41 from Geeta Hannan, set in Dubai in 2019. So Caironi added 25 centimetres to that. And there is news I'll bring you in a moment of another big jump in this category as well. This is the Spaniard, Desiree Villa Bargila, 25 years old, from Gondomar in Spain. She was 6th in the Europeans back in 2018, her best result. Now I can tell you that Martina Caironi broke the championship record. Elena Kratter of Switzerland has then broken the championship record again and added 1 centimetre to the mark just a few minutes ago. So Kratter has taken the lead, as you saw there on the leaderboard, and this is the Swiss heading off here. Bronze medalist in 2020, and she has put down a marker straight away. 5th in the 100 metres here. We know she has speed, and she has speed there, Stefreen.
It's really interesting when you watch T63s don't have use of their knee, so they have a sport knee, and you can see that the knee has to do 2 things. When they're running, it bends to allow the blade to flick through, and then it has to be able to be solid enough that they're able to put their full pressure into it. I mean, it is absolutely amazing, and I can't help but think life would be very different for amputees a century ago.
Well, Kratter holds the championship record now. Caironi in 2nd place. Vanessa Lowe, her first was 4:32. We'll come back to the long jump shortly, but let's go back to the men's 100 metres T54. This is the 2nd heat, and 2 will go through as per the last one, and the 2 best times at the end of the 3 heats will go through to the final, which is the last event of the evening session a bit later. Zhang Ying of China, 23 years of age, will go from lane 3. They all start in this one that are listed. 4th in 2019, just outside the medal, Samuel Carter of Australia. Athawat Pangnua, the Paralympic champion, also won silver here already over 400 metres at these championships. Esapeka Matila will go in lane 6. He was bronze in the Europeans in 2021. Sambat Karapetyan of Armenia, the heats in 2019 was the best he could manage. Mahmoud Balde of Portugal, 18 years of age, his first major championships, and he looks like he's enjoying himself. So there's your field. Matila of Finland goes in this one, and we'll have Leo Pekatati, the world and European champion, who will go in the final heat of the men's 100 metres T54. This is the strongest of the wheelchair categories. 6th lineup. First 2 will go through to the final automatically. Got away fast there, Samuel Carter of Australia, but next to him, Pangnua, the Paralympic champion, absolutely exploded from the 50-metre mark. He's going to take it. The battle's going to be on for 2nd. It looks like on the inside there, it's Zhang who's taken 2nd place. 13:63 is the time. Unofficially, it's equalled the world record. We'll just wait for the confirmation to make sure it hasn't been rounded up, but unofficially, he's equalled the world record set by Leo Pekatati in London back in the 2012 Paralympic Games. It has been given. It is equal to the world record of Pekatati, who goes to the next heat. So, a magnificent start from Samuel Carter, but what about that from Pangnua?
Well, I mean, that is an absolute masterclass in terms of how to race a 100. You see the power he generated at the beginning and just carried that smoothness all the way. But I have to say, my eye was actually caught at the beginning by Balde. He was in lane 8 there. Just noticing the length of his arms. My goodness, they were long. And if he just learns how to speed that up a bit, he's going to be very dangerous for the future. As you can see with the T54s, they do have full use of their torso, and so he's powering into that with both his shoulders and his abdominals. And the other thing that he's doing really well is keeping that chair straight. There was a lot of movement with the other athletes in that heat, and they make it look really easy to control those chairs, and you can see how much of the lane that it takes up, and sometimes they start bouncing when you have that much power going into it, but part of going fast is being smooth. And again, it's a skill where you just learn to make that chair an extension of your body.
Well, Pangnua has medalled in the 400 metres here already. He's picked up the silver. He takes the plaudits from his fellow athletes. He's equalled the world record of Leo Pecatani. There is Balde, who you're talking about in the green, the Portuguese, with those long arms you're mentioning that he knows to learn how to use over the years. He's only 18 years of age. Plenty of time. Zhang Ying in second position also qualifies, and we go all the way down to the bottom. Krapchen, a season best for him. But this, tonight, at the end of the evening session, promises to be an absolute belter in the final of this 100 metres men's T54. One more heat to come in the coming minutes. But in the meantime, we're going to head back to the field events.
Yeah, you've seen Elena Kratter take the lead with that championship record in the women's long jump T63 final. And by the standards of Martina Caroni, well, she did set a championship record earlier, and Vanessa Lowe, it hasn't quite been what they've wanted. Caroni, especially with her second round attempt, while you were watching that world record, went out to 2 meters 70. She didn't get the effort anyway close to what she wanted. Tamami Tozawa of Japan, 4:47, has her in fourth position. Bronze in the last World Championships and bronze in the last Asian Games. Just a few things being needed, just being worked on further on the way up. Martina Caroni was looking to warm up there. There's just been a bit of a delay. A couple of officials were on the walkway, and now they're happy. The way is clear for Tozawa to have her second effort. So 4:70 her attempt earlier in the season for a new lifetime best. So 4:47 by her standards is really good. I should tell you the respective world records. Vanessa Lowe is the only T61 in this. She's 5:28 set in Tokyo. Martina Caroni set in this stadium last year, 5:46. Decent enough effort by Tozawa. Looking to go out that range again.
That camera shot just really showed how a long jumper builds a rhythm. You could see that she started quite methodically and then slowly wound it up. Now in the long jump, unlike the 100, you still need to have high velocity, but it only matters that you have it at the takeoff board. It doesn't actually matter how long it takes you to get there. So that's why you'll see some of the athletes starting quite methodically, quite patiently, and then just build that runway into the jump.
That is, well, 20 centimeters given away, and that's interesting because 4:36, really she flew 4:56 in the air, which would have been an improvement. Wouldn't got her into the top two, but all the same.
That'd be interesting there, wouldn't it? Italian flying across as well as Japanese, and they're both talking to their coaches at the same time. I don't know whether they speak each other's language, but they could get a few tips, couldn't they?
So now our leader, Elena Kratter, a sensational championship record in the opening round of 4:67. She's flown through the air really well there that time as well. She is one of only 3 5-meter jumpers in the competition. That wasn't this year. Silver in the 100 and the long jump in the last Europeans in Bydgoszcz a couple of years ago. Also an international skier.
Now 5 meters is kind of that key marker for elite in this field. And once again, I think it's just worth looking and admiring how that knee knows when to bend and when to be stiff. You can see there as she comes out of the sand, it bends, and then she stands up, and it automatically knows, okay, the athlete now wants me to be strong and secure so that she can walk on it.
Well, this is where all the coaches are based, obviously, and it's right in front of the crowd as well. So 4:54 doesn't improve. But, I mean, the atmosphere down here is absolutely fantastic. It has been all week, and I know London had 50,000 crowds in 2017, but to me, this and Lyon, of all the championships we worked on, have been the best the best atmospheres.
Well, it's bopping away at the moment, isn't it? 22 centimetres, by the way, just separates that top 4.
At the moment, we are looking at some very colorful markers. Each athlete gets to pick their color, and the reason for those is because it helps us set the runway. Now, right now, the officials are not happy, so typically on all the runways, you don't just have the one takeoff board. Triple jump will also happen, and so we have a variety of boards, and right now, they're just checking one of the boards that's in. As you can imagine, if you are running down with a blade, if you suddenly hit a surface that's slightly different from the other surface, it does actually cause a little bit of a jolt. And sometimes that can happen when water gets underneath the board. And so they're just using a few tools there, and they're lifting it out, and they're going to replace that or just make sure it's a little bit more secure.
How often have you seen this happen in the middle of a competition? Because I can't remember anything like this.
I was just thinking, I have never seen that in a competition either.
Well, that's a great time, isn't it? It gives us a break. It lets us go back to the 100 metres. It lets us round up the men's 100 metres T54 with the final heat before we know who's in the final.
So that world record mark of Leo Pekka-Tati being equalled in the last 10 minutes. 5 going in this. Men's 100 metres T54, the fastest wheelsters. And this man in the heats of the 1 and the 4, Luke Bailey of Australia, 8th in the 4 in the last World Championships, who was the 10-time European, 4-time world, 5-time Paralympic champion for Finland, Leo Pekka-Tati. This week's 400 metres world champion for the first time. For China, Hu Yang. Next up for Indonesia. Silver in the 200 metres in the last Asian Games, and he's just won bronzes in the 1 and the 4 in the Southeast Asian Games. Janal Arifin of Indonesia. And this man has had a busy old week. World and Paralympic silver medalist previously. Saichun Kongen, 11 all-time World Championship medals. So Leo Pekka-Tati, 13.82, which was the fastest in the world this year, but not anymore, because Atuat Painua, the Paralympic champion from Thailand, has equalled it this evening. So Bailey in 3, Tati 4, Hu 5, Arapin 6, Kongen 7, top 2 to go through, plus the next 2 fastest. So way first time. Nice start by Bailey. Better start by Tati. The flying Finn is away and clear. Hu Yang is moving up as well into second spot. But Leo Pekka-Tati has seen his world record equalled. He is easing up. 14.09. He's left some in the tank. Hu Yang is through as well.
That is a bold move when you are confident enough to sit up like that at the end of the race. And that world record that Leo Pekka-Tati set back in September 2012, that's 11 years ago. And records in the Paralympics typically don't stay around for that long. And right now, Leo Pekka-Tati is in new territory. He had been so dominant for so long. And when Pang Nuo took the Paralympic title last year, that was definitely a big shock. And I'm always interested to see how champions come back and how they choose to evolve in order to take back that title.
Yeah, got away really well as usual, Leo Pekka-Tati. T54, the strongest and the fastest of the wheelchair racers. It was a nice start actually by Bailey, I have to say, alongside, coached by Andrew Dawes, based out of New South Wales. But Leo Pekka-Tati, he's been the man for so long. He's not the Paralympic champion right now. That's his big aim for this city next year. He is through to the final, 14.08. And maybe that's his way of saying to Atiwat Painua, fine, you've equalled my world record, but can you do that? Shaping up for an excellent final. Hu Yang is also through. He loves to win. 14.08. So Leo Pekka-Tati qualifies for the final. Hu Yang does as well. And the rest have had their run. And there's a long jump champion watching another one. One floor actually watching another tonight.
Men's javelin throw F13 final. There he is, the Paralympic champion from Great Britain, Daniel Pembroke. Lifetime best of 69.52. A season best of 63.33. Well, that just kept on going forever. I'm always amazed at the javelin, how it just flies and flies and flies, and the aeronautics of it all. Quite unbelievable, the strength which is shown there, the technique, release, and to make sure as well that at that speed you're not going over the foul line.
And it's not just strength. What I love about the javelin is how this is a throw that essentially starts off with a sprint, because the faster you can get that javelin throwing before you throw it, the further the distance.
65.97. It's a new season best for Daniel Pembroke. It puts him up into first position. Aguila Cruz in second, Peruge in third. 63.33 was his lifetime best before that, so he's gone almost 2.5 metres, or he has gone 2.5 metres over it with his first throw. So Nick Parast is next to go. We're still in the first round. The Iranian. Silver medalist in 2012 and 16. Silver also in London in 2017 for this man. And that's a decent enough throw as well. With his opener, it's always important to get a mark first up. Get yourself on the board. Slightly different technique. He holds it a little bit lower. He angles it a bit higher than Daniel Pembroke did.
Well, the release point is incredibly important. And so you'll see they'll set it up with the run and then switch these crossover steps. But the whole time you're doing that, one of the things that you have to train is keeping your arm and your elbow in exactly the position that you're going to release to set yourself up.
Well, he moves above Peruge and goes up into the bronze medal position. 59.61 for Nick Parast. Now, his season best, lifetime best, 63.88. Shernay of Moldova doesn't actually have a mark this season. So regardless of what he throws here, as long as it lands, he'll have a season best.
You're definitely a glass half full kind of guy,
I
right?
am. It's always about making sure you stay positive on things, and that's what I'm doing here for the Moldovan. Well, Shernay is just waiting for the green light to throw. The officials are just fixing something out in the field. I can see from here, it looks like we're ready to go now. There was a bit of a divot out there that was being fixed. That's why Shernay was being held up. It has been sorted now. The officials in the field are happy. It's ready for him to go. Off Shernay goes with throw number one. Well, that will be a mark. Not the speed and the power you see from the likes of Pembroke and Nick Parast.
I think you can see the difference there is just there wasn't as much speed generated on that runway. And again, it just shows throwers are not just about strength. They have to be agile and fast and then combine that all into amazing technique.
Well, 31.54, and it is a season best. He's in seventh.
Martina Caroni in the women's long jump T63. Third round. She didn't like a second round attempt. This was a bit better. Considerably better. Now that's the 5 meter marker there. 4:87. Championship record lead. Martina Caroni has gone way out. She's gone beyond 5 meters and she is now in the gold medal position. Part of that brilliant hat-trick again, the 1, 2, 3 in the 100 metres. Sabatini, Caroni, Contrafato, fantastic on the track, championship record. 5 metres and then some.
Well, we didn't even have to look at that jump to know that it was big, because there was a huge ooh and ah in the crowd. And we've seen so much long jump this week already. And what you'll notice with a lot of the above knee single leg amps, instead of using that running man action, as I call it, they'll actually split their legs and almost bring them around. And again, that's just because they want to keep their prosthesis up and out of the way as much as possible. And I'm not sure how the knee would actually react if they tried to do the running man in the air.
Different categories. Different championship records then. Karoni gold, 5:17. Low silver for now, 4:87. Tozawa in fourth spot for Japan. 4:47 in this opening round. He's 21 centimeters to go up into the medals. That would also be knocking on the door of a lifetime best. Elena Kratter suddenly has gone from the lead to third in the space of 2 minutes, 2 consecutive jumps.
Well, I mean, this is a great thing about long jump. Literally, anything can change at any moment, and all it takes is one big jump. And that was a great effort from Tozawa. And you can see she has all the right actions there. I think it's just not quite matching the speed of the other women. And even into the board for that run for me, there was just a tiny little bit off balance. And the thing is, when you're taking off of a blade like that, you have to be perfectly balanced at the takeoff and in control. Otherwise, the jump gets a little bit wild.
Tozawa in fourth spot. Kratter lying in the bronze medal position suddenly. So Kratter suddenly has fallen from gold to bronze. Little bit of hesitation just before she hit the board, but still not a bad effort from it. Silver in the Europeans in Bydgoszcz. She's an orthodontical technician in Bern, the Swiss capital.
Now, I don't think that Kratter will have been taken by surprise that Karoni and Lowe have now come back and jumped big. She will have expected it, and the best thing that she can do is just carry on what she is capable of on the long jump pit or on the runway. You can't really affect what another long jumper does, and that's. We never really used that sort of automatic feedback when I was long jumping. I think for a while it was banned, and then they realized, you know what, we just need to let it happen.
Instant replay.
Our first final of the evening on the track. The women's 200 metres T36 coordination impairment category. Five on the field tonight and 10 on the track as far as finals go. John Monje of the Republic of Korea, silver in 2012, gold medalist, world champion in 2013. Abby Creswell studies occupational therapy. She was 6th in the 100 metres, turns 19 in 2 days' time. Daniel Aitchison, already silver over 100 here. She was silver in this event in Dubai and also in Tokyo in the Paralympics. Brazil's Samira de Silva, 6th in the Paralympics back in 2020. Marley Lavelle of Australia, coached by Mel Gainsford-Taylor and Katie Edwards, 19 years of age at her first major championship. She was 7th in the 100 metres as well. Yanina Martinez of Argentina, 5th in the 100, gold in 2015 and 2019 at the Pan American Games. Nicole Nikolaitzik, European champion in 2018, bronze in the 100 metres here, younger sister of Claudia, the former 100 T36 world champion. And Rotella of Argentina, the second of the Argentines, who was 4th in the 100 metres here at these championships, so she'll be looking to medal in this one. No Shi Yiting, the world champion, she withdrew from her heat, which made it a straight final instead of the heats taking place yesterday because only 8 remain. Now, she won the 100 metre gold, but does not go in this 200 metres, having pulled out of those heats. So here are the 8 who are heading through to compete in this women's 200 metres T36. John in 1, Craswell in 2, Aitchison in 3, De Silva in 4, Lovell in 5, Martinez in 6, Nikolaitic in 7, and Rotella in lane 8. The women's 200 metres T36 final. Well, they were held for quite a while and they finally get away, and already moving up very fast is Martinez on the outside, but here comes Danielle Aitchison, who's already picked up that silver medal in the 100 metres. She's flying as she comes in to the home straight with 100 to go. There's a race on behind between the Australian Marley Lovell outside her, but here comes Danielle Aitchison. Aitchison against the clock. Aitchison's going to get there first. What's the time going to be for Danielle Aitchison? 28.52. She's outside the world record. In second place, it's Marley Lovell, who looks like she's taken the silver medal. And then there was a battle on for third, but Danielle Aitchison. It's Nikolaitik, by the looks of things, who's picked up that bronze medal. 28.50, a new Oceania record for Danielle Aitchison. She adds gold to the silver she took in the 100. She's a world champion in the 200. A lifetime best for Marley Lovell, 30.19. Her coach, Mel Gainsford-Taylor, along with Katie Edwards, will be absolutely ecstatic with that. The 19-year-old, a brilliant performance at her first major championships. And Nikolaitik, 30.84, a lifetime best. Her sister was once the 100 metres T36 world champion. She's picked up a bronze, but there is your gold medalist from New Zealand, an Oceania record. What a run from Danielle Aitchison. She got into a stride after about 50 and she was away.
But Aitchison would have known that there was a huge opportunity for her here, and she took it. In this category, the women's T36, it's optional whether or not to use the blocks, and she certainly used hers and powered around that corner and really did most of her damage around the bend. And so once we saw her come off the bend, I think we probably knew that she was going to take it. And my eye then was looking at the fight that was going on behind her. And in the T36 category, it is a coordination impairment category, and it is a moderate to severe effect across all limbs. And anybody who has run a 200 meters at full tilt will be watching this, and they will know exactly what that feels like when the lactic is burning and you are doing everything you can just to keep your knees going. And the only thing that you can do is just try and maintain your technique. And it was just so impressive to watch the women behind her do that and just fight their way onto that podium.
Well, I know the three of us saw Danielle Aitchison walking out the other night when we congratulated her on that 100. And there is Marley Lovell. I know there's a big fan group watching her back in Australia. Australasian 1-2, Germany with 3. Nikolaitik picks up a bronze in the 200 to add to her bronze in the 100. Aitchison goes from silver in the 100 to gold in the 200. And Marley Lovell, first major championship, she was 7th in the 100. She's a silver medalist at the World Para-Athletics Championships. Extremely happy down under in both New Zealand and Australia. And Germany also will be celebrating. Well, there's confirmation of it, 28.50, a new Oceania record for Aitchison to add to that silver in the 100. Marley Lovell, lifetime best of 30.19 for her, and Nikolaitik, a bronze medal in the 200 to add to her bronze in the 100 metres with a lifetime best.
Always great to see athletes developing and coming through and delivering. Men's Javelin F13. This is the category of least visual impairment. Generally a maximum of 20% vision only. I remember the first time I met Jason Smith and his then coach. We were at a European Under-23 Championships in Lithuania, and he just... Jason couldn't see what was happening on most of the tracks, so he needed a personal commentator. I wasn't doing much work in the day. I was just asking him what he saw, and he said it was just kind of like a tunnel, and it was blurred all around it. And then obviously it could be the opposite for others. And for Pembroke, it's going to be very difficult for him to see where this lands, and I kind of think that's what caused a lot of the confusion at the end of the 100 T13 the other night, because the athletes couldn't see the big screen and they didn't realise there'd been a slight computer error, which gave the wrong bronze medalist. Pembroke going big for Great Britain. He's leading, he's dominating. Right now, 6 metres clear of Ulisera Gualera. and Pembroke's looking for more.
Pembroke had to be so patient on that attempt, waiting for those wheelchairs to come. And from that angle, you can just see the beauty of the javelin and the way of the javelin throw and the way that he uses his body as a slingshot. Now he has to make sure he stops his throw before that white line. That is a proud coach looking on just there and clapping.
He's really held that one out. It's a European record, 70 meters 50.
Aguilera, he's got some work to do. Daniel Pembroke, what a throw. 65.97 with his first. He's absolutely leathered it in the second one. You can see him walking past there in the background. He's so happy. Why wouldn't you be? Oh my God, look, my arms are, my hairs are tingling and standing up. It was such a good throw. So this is the second round of throws. Look, there he is. Sheer joy. I wouldn't know how to deal with it either, Daniel. It's Aguilera Cruz. Just awaits his turn.
We've been getting some great shots, just understanding what happens when everything on the track is happening and there's chaos, and it is just one of those things you have to deal with and be patient and keep your cool.
Organised chaos, we like to say, don't we? Well, that's out there. 59.79 with his first. There is over 10 metres between Aguilera Cruz of Cuba and Great Britain's Daniel Pembroke. Now, the 59.79 he threw in his opener was a season best. So to catch Pembroke, he would have to absolutely and utterly annihilate not only his season best, but his lifetime best, which is 59.89. 59.51, he remains in the silver medal position, Pembroke, with that European record at the top of the pile.
Well, another of the night's hot finals coming up. In the next 10 minutes, we've got the women's 400 meters T53 and 54 final. This is the T53 final. Starting off in lane 1 for Bermuda, bronze in the 2015 World Championships.
Representing Bermuda,
Jessica Lewis goes in lane 1 for Bermuda. The Pan Am champion, she is over 100 and 400, based in Mississauga, in Toronto, around where Pearson Airport is. Lane 2 for Turkey. It is Zeynep Aset of Turkey, bronze in the European Championships last time out, silver in the double in Berlin, 200 and 400. In lane 3 for China, the former 400 meters world champion, the former Paralympic champion, she's still the reigning Asian champion over 102, 4 and 8, Zhou Hongjian. In lane 4 for Switzerland, 3 gold medals, 1 silver this week. This is a chance for 5 medals from 5 competitions and a full 100% strike rate for Catherine de Brunner. In lane 5 for China, the reigning 100 meters Paralympic champion and the former world champion, Gao Fan. In lane 6 for Great Britain, the regained 100 meters world champion, Sammy Kinghorn. In lane 7 for Turkey, bronze in the 800 this week. Former European champion in the 200, 4 silvers in the last Europeans. Hamid Dogangan for Turkey. And in lane 8 on the outside for Australia, the 5-time world champion, Commonwealth Games silver in Birmingham over 15 last year, Angie Ballard. Jessica Lewis in lane 1, the Pan Am champion. This is a superb field. Kinghorn, can she make it? 2 goals in 24 hours. De Bruyne looking for her 4th title. They're underway. Lewis, Asset, Chu, De Bruyne, Gao, Kinghorn, De Gangen, and Angie Ballard in this final. De Bruyne has got away really well. Kinghorn coming up with her. Kinghorn who edged De Bruyne back into 2nd place in last night's 100 metres final. De Bruyne is a brilliant sprinter. Moving up, so is Kinghorn. It could be a big battle between these two again. Gao in 3rd, Dongangen in 4th spot, a regular medalist in her own right. But De Bruyne in lane 4, Kinghorn in 6th. And she's moved well out in front, has the Swiss. Now a full-time athlete after taking a break of around 2 years. She's taken gold this week in the 800, the 15 and the 5. De Bruyne leading, Kinghorn in 2nd, but right now there ain't no stopping. Catherine De Bruyne, 50.16, has destroyed the championship record by 5 seconds. Kinghorn in 2nd spot, and De Bruyne wanted to make a point after last night. Well, it's the same top 2, but in reverse order. De Bruyne's most successful championships, her 4th gold. It's Kinghorn's most successful as well in terms of golds and silvers combined. 1 gold, 2 silver. She did win 2 golds along with a bronze in 2017 in London. It's another good triumph for Kinghorn. It certainly is for De Bruyne. That championship record was 55.22. Not anymore, it's not. What a win. Photo finish for 3rd in a moment.
That was a very dominant display from De Bruyne. And I saw her last night and asked her a little bit about the 100, and she said with a smile, you know what, I didn't get out, and that's what happens. And in 100 meters, that is what happens. There just isn't enough time to make a correction or get up to your top speed. But on this occasion, De Bruyne certainly did not make any mistakes with her start. She made it the stagger quite quickly and was just tailing Sammy Kinghorn down that back straight. But where De Bruyne really comes into her own is after this 200 meter going around the bend. That is when she just separates, and the difference is that she can get up to that top speed and then hold it in a way that none of the other women can keep up with her. And in fact, her world record, which she set this year, is almost 2 seconds faster than the women's T54 world record. That is how dominant she is. But what was really exciting is the battle we have in the back for bronze. Anything can change in these last few meters if you keep going, but in that case, she managed to hang on to her lead. And just looking at De Bruyne's style and technique, and there really is quite a lot of technique in wheelchair racing. I mean, she's strong, she has long arms, she has the endurance, she really is the full package, and it's going to be very hard to beat.
As we go quickly to the long jump, because we're watching one of the main contenders in Elaine Kratter, who led earlier. Don't think she went near the board, frankly, there. Went a little bit wide. That's her 4th round attempt. So it's looking like Swiss bronze here, Swiss gold a few moments ago on the track.
I always love waiting just to watch athletes analyze their own jumps, because they tend to know better than we do. And the motion that she made after that jump, a bit of like an up and down motion, seems to suggest that she was quite happy with the height that she got. And it was really high. But if you get the height but without that penetration forward, then the jump goes up and down. It doesn't go far. And we can also see there that she didn't quite get onto that board, which, as we know, is at least 20 centimeters that you can add to that jump, because that is the length of that whiteboard.
Kratter 4:17.
And if you're wondering why Vanessa Lowe had a championship record next to her name as well, she is a T61 athlete. Martina Caironi is a T63. So there are different categories competing, hence a championship record in each of those categories. Now, Lowe's championship record prior to that was 4:68, set in Dubai 4 years ago. So she has improved on that mark by quite some distance.
So Vanessa Lowe for Australia, 4:87. She's 30 centimeters down in Coroni right now. It's the same big joust as in Tokyo, and she's just gone too far. That'll be a red flag. And it was good distance in that in the end when she got into the sand. The takeoff point wasn't what she wanted, though.
It was a good jump, and ironically for for long jumpers, our best jumps always seem to come when they're fouls. But with Vanessa Lowe being a T61, that means that she is a double above knee amputees, and what you'll typically see is that they tend to have much longer runways simply because it takes a little bit longer for them to get up to speed. And so when you have a longer runway, unfortunately, it does mean that there can be a lot more room for inaccuracies.
So a couple of words between athlete and coach, between wife and husband, Vanessa Lowe and Scott Reardon. And they've both done individual videos. You can find them on Instagram and the rest of their social media of how they developed over the years and how frustrated they felt they were early on after their respective injuries when they were getting used to their equipment, getting used to their prosthetics. But they got used to it with all the golds that they have in their house.
And they're having another look at this area here, which was used before.
Oh, they got the spanners
Getting the
out.
spanner, it is serious if the spanner's in there. But I think they are actually tightening something there. We think they're just putting the spanner in, and you might look at home and think that they're not doing much, but they are actually tightening that area there.
So the women's 400 metres T53, Catherine de Bruyne gets her 4th gold medal and her 5th medal overall of the week. Championship record 50.16. Sammy Kinghorn, the silver for Great Britain and Scotland, 52.53. And Zhu Hong Xuan won the Chinese battle and an Asian record as well in 3rd.
Well, Martina Caironi is about to go on the long jump. We'll bring you that in a little while if there is a change in what is happening. But we're going to stay with the track because we have the women's 400 metres T54 following on from the T53.
If you love your wheelchair racing, you're enjoying this. The fastest category coming, and a history maker here. Her country's first ever para-athletics World Championship medalist. Silver last night in the 100. Noemi Alphonse. And an area record in the heats. In lane 2 for Belgium. Bronze in the 100 metres in the last Europeans. In Bydgoszcz, Leah Bayakula. In lane 3 for China. The reigning Paralympic 100 and 1500 metre champion. Silver in the 8, bronze in the 15 this week. Zhao Zhiqian. In lane 4 for the United States. 21 global titles, 8 at the Paralympic Games, 13 at the World Championships. 4 out of 4 in her last World Championships in 2017. Bronze in the 100 and the 800 this week. Tatiana McFadden of the United States. In lane 5 for Switzerland, this week's 800 metres world champion. That was her 10th World Championships track medal, and she's the Paralympic champion in this. Manuela Shah. In lane 6 for China, 6th in the 5,000 metres final here in her championship debut, Tian Ya Chuan. In lane 7 for the United States, 7th in the 800 metres final here. 4th in the 100 at the Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Hannah Dederick. And in lane 8 for China, 4th in the 800 metres here, 5th in the 100 last night on her championship debut, Liu Shu Mei. A championship record in the heats for Manuela Shah, 52.17. Area record for Noemi Alfonso Mauritius. McFadden 4, Shah 5, Tian 6. This is another hot final. So it's Alfonso 1, Bayakula 2, Zhu 3, McFadden 4, Shah 5, Tian 6, Dederick 7, Liu 8. Underway in the final of the women's 400 metres. T54, Zhu and McFadden getting out to the better start, and now Shah and 5 in the Swiss white, beginning to move up, and Tian on her outside, who's moving up, and Dederick and her outside as well. But McFadden in lane 4 who this week has won her first ever World Championship bronze medals, because they've usually always been gold. 13 of them, count them. It's Shah in front. Now McFadden's making a move in second spot. And Bayakula, Belgium, is up in the third position. Alphonse, so heroic last night, is in fourth for Mauritius. Looking to make even more history here, perhaps. But as they turn for home, it's Manuela Shah, gold in the 8, silvers in the 15 and the 5,000, leading them through. McFadden in second place. It's Manuela Shah who's going to take the title again, a second gold of the week, a good double. McFadden silver this time, and it's tied between Alphonse and Bayakula. I think it might have been Alphonse who's got a double medal haul here. But Manuela Shah pulls it off, and Noemi Alphonse is having the week of her life, surely. Manuela Shah likewise. It's a golden double on the track. Her first gold's on the track because Tatjana McFadden had dominated for so long. Alphonse gets the bronze. This is incredible for Mauritius. McFadden silver. And Noemi Alphonse, so close to the area record she got in the heats, now has a silver and a bronze. Her sport's first ever on a global basis.
Oh, well, I do hope we get to witness again her coach yanking her up over the barrier, just because he could not wait to celebrate with her. Now, for those eagle-eyed wheelchair racers who have just watched this and wondered why Catherine de Brunner competed in the 400 meters final in the T53, even though she competed with the same women in the 1500 meter and the 5000 earlier, it's because in the 400 meters they have separate categories for T53s and T54s. Now, for this race, we don't often see Manuela Shah do a 100 meter, but you can still see that she is an excellent starter, and she made up the stagger really quickly. And again, we see just that standard case in a 400 meters. If you can get out, get up to top speed, and you can hold that top speed, then you're going to run an excellent 400 meters. And she came out and she was well ahead of the field, and Tatjana was doing such a great job to power down. But again, that real race was going on for that bronze, and with the speeds that these athletes are going at, anything can change in those final few meters, and Alphonse did so well just to keep her head down and keep her cool. And when they measure the crossing of those wheelchairs, they're taking it from the center of that front wheel. And she did so well there to hang on to that fight. We can see the lines there lining up against that central hub on the front wheel.
Same time, Alphonse ahead of Bayakula. Manuela Shah has her second gold of the week. Huga's 2. De Brunner is 4. Alphonse has 2 medals. And you know, you look at medal tables and so many people are so interested. Oh, who's top? Who's second? That's meaningless. Biggest teams will always be up there. The more interesting stories are at the bottom. The smaller countries, the smaller teams, with a handful of athletes. Noemi Alphonse is showing that. These are 2 absolute greats. Certainly Tatjana McFadden, head and shoulders ahead so many in the history of this sport. Shah gold, Switzerland. McFadden silver, USA. Alphonse the bronze from Mauritius, just edging out Lea Bayakula of Belgium by thousandths of a second.
So here goes Martina Caironi with that jump, which was interrupted by the 400 metres. She leads with a championship record at the moment, and that looks pretty good as well. 5:17 was the championship record jump with number 3. This was the one she was waiting for and biding her time, because that women's T54 400 we just saw was waiting to go. She calmed, she waited.
Well, we spoke at the beginning of the show about athletes that take their best jump up front, whereas Caironi has done the exact opposite. She has kept building and kept building and kept building, and I suspect she's probably not done
Well,
yet.
she's broken her own championship record by 1 centimetre. 5:18, she leads Vanessa Lowe, who also has a championship record in the T61 category. Here's Magawa of Japan. She's in 5th position. A foul. 4:14, 4:19, and another foul. This is jump number 5. She was a silver medalist in London in 2017. Her lifetime best is 4:58. Her season best is 4:56. She's going to need to beat her lifetime best by a bit. And that looked long off the board. But she's been given a white flag, so it must have been very tight towards that plasticine. I'll be interested to have a look at that. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. But McGowan, she doesn't have that speed that someone like Caironi or Lowe has. So she has to find it in other ways. Yeah, that looked pretty good off the board.
She does build, she has a different pattern to her runway, and she builds her speed quite carefully and quite methodically. And actually that was a great shot there. Just you can see that when they touch down on that board, you get that tiny little bit of compression. There we go. You can see the compression just in the top left corner. And a lot of people often ask, how do you choose a blade? How do you know what blade to choose? That is Coach there doing her own biomechanics, or his own biomechanics on the fly. And the way that you choose a blade is a combination of both strength and body weight. And
isn't it a wonderful world when we can see that? Honestly, I'm sorry to jump in. I'm absolutely, the world, how it's changed over the past 10 years or even 5 years, how things have changed. And could you imagine someone like, I don't know, a Carl Lewis years ago with his coach doing that in the stands? It's the mind boggles. Sorry, Steph, but I just had to get that out. Men's 400 metres T20.
The irony is that it was a screen watching a screen, and we were watching them on a screen.
Strangely enough, I've seen people go to football, soccer matches and watch games through an iPad. Anyway, there's a delay here with this 400 metres T20 intellectual impairment category. So as rude as I was to interrupt you, Steph Reid, a moment ago, we're going to go back towards the long jump, and we'll talk some more about that now.
Well, in that case, I'll tee up the viewers. As Crater runs down the runway, just have a quick look at her blade and just look at the way that it works and the way that it absorbs the power she puts into it and then returns it. People are often amazed when they watch an amputee run for the first time at how natural the pattern works. And I often ask, well, what exactly were you expecting? And they say, well, actually, I don't really know. But I can understand that it's hard to imagine a professional runner with one foot.
And that wind is in her favour at the moment. But the takeoff of the board wasn't.
Unfortunately, I think that might have been just a little bit too favourable. But again, it just goes back to what we've been speaking about. This is an outdoor sport. You have to deal with the conditions. And what we can see, even though right now it is a foul, again, we're getting this amazing shot of the compression of the blade. And often when athletes are walking on the blade, it looks a little bit awkward. And it is because the blade is set up with the understanding that it will compress when they run. So even though they're not walking particularly well on this blade, when they run, then it all makes sense.
Well, a foul for Crater. She did set a championship record in the T63 category with her opening jump of 4:67. She's 4:69. Lowe and Caironi are above her. We are ready for the men's 400 metres T20 final after that slight delay. And this promises to be an absolute cracker. We have the Paralympic champion, Charles-Antoine Kouakou of France. Daniel Tavares, the world champion and world record holder. Colombo Blanco, the European champion, and also the man who set the championship record in his heat, Giovanni Philippe. But there is Delibert Rodriguez of Spain, bronze medalist in the Europeans in 2021 and 2017 in London at the World Championships. There is Colombo Blanco. He was a fastest qualifier as a loser, fourth in his heat, European champion, bronze in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. Samuel Oliveira, who won his heat, the 23-year-old at his first major championship. He is a talent to look out for and will go close in this one. Minad Ramazani Turkmani of Iran. An Asian record in his heat, major championship debut, 21 years of age. Now here's another talent from Mauritius. There may be another medal coming here. Giovanni Philippe, championship record in this heat, will go in lane 5. Reigning Paralympic champion, season best in his heat. Gold in Tokyo, silver in the Europeans in 2021. Have a listen to that. Anderson, Colorado, season best in his heat as well. He was 6th in Tokyo. He won silver in 2019 in Dubai as he looks to go one better. And Daniel Tavares, the world champion, who just snuck through in 3rd place in his heat. Gold in 2019, also 15 and 17. He's a triple world champion. He also won Paralympic gold in 2016 as well at his home games in Rio. What a field this is. Men's 400 metres, T20 intellectual impairment category. The world record holder and the championship record holder going in this, and that man there is the Paralympic champion. We have champions and records aplenty in this. You cannot ask for a better final. Let's hope it lives up to its billing. So away they go at the first time of asking, and the roar for Charles-Antoine Kouakou was quite noticeable when they went out. Let's see how he judges this race. The Brazilian Oliveira is going like a rocket at the moment down the back straight. He has made up so much ground, has Oliveira, who won his heat, 23 years of age, the youngster. Well, we've had a pull out already. It's Anderson Colombo who's gone out. So he goes out, Anderson, Colorado. We lose him, but we continue on down the home straight as they move around into that final 100 metres. And on the outside, it is Daniel Tavares, the champion, who's looking to claim another world championship. But on the inside, it's his compatriot, Samuel Oliveira. Oliveira, Tavares, who's it going to be? It's going to be Oliveira. The 23-year-old, his first major championship at a time of 47.22, and that is a new championship record, isn't it? And I think the Mauritian has taken 3rd place, so Mauritius have got another one. It's a bronze for Giovanni Philippe, but look at those scenes of joy. 1st and 2nd for Brazil. Oliveira with a championship record. Tavares, the outgoing champion, with a season best, pipped on the line. And then that man there, Giovanni Philippe, 47.48, season best in his heat. What a finish. Well, there's the unfortunate sight of Anderson, Colorado, the Ecuadorian, who went out with what looked like a leg injury in that back straight around the 200-metre mark. He's disconsolate on the ground. Can't be consoled. So unfortunate. Not for that man, though. Championship record for Brazil, and also gold and silver. What a finish to that race. It was absolutely up for grabs from anyone. What a finish from that man there, Giovanni Philippe. Championship record in his heat. Couldn't do it again when it came to the final, but he picks up a bronze medal. Well, the Brazilian crowd, they are absolutely loving it, but unfortunate as it is for Anderson, Colorado on the far side, the silver medalist from 2019 who went out. We'll see what happened to him in a short time, but just look at that. On the outside, Tavares went out like a rocket, but also Oliveira went with him as well. Brazil flying. The Frenchman, Charles-Antoine Kouakou, got a big roar, but he just couldn't live up to the billing.
We've been saying all week in the 400 meters just how important pacing is, and we definitely saw that at the end of the race when everything suddenly changed. And when I walked into the media center this afternoon, it was absolutely packed, and it was packed because it was full of cameramen here for Kouakou. Oh, and there we just see every...
That's Colorado going out there, and he looks like he's just stumbled there and done himself a mischief on his leg, so he may have twisted something, but he's grabbing at his hamstring at the back there. Well, that's unfortunate. This wasn't, though. This was unbelievable running. Continue on, Steph, please.
So we saw there's a huge camera crew here for Kawaku, and there is just the crowd going wild, and to watch how he's trying so hard to deal with that pressure. And you can see he actually paces so well. He timed it well. He's coming through. He's doing everything he can right there to get that bronze medal, but it just wasn't quite there in the end.
Yeah, Charles Anton Kawaku, just to let you know how well he did actually run. He's run a new European record in 4th place, just missing out. And then we look at the Iranian, who's also set a new Asian record, Ramazani Turkmani, in 5th place. So you couldn't ask for much more from these athletes. A championship record at the top, which Giovanni Felipe had held earlier, but it now goes to Samuel Oliveira, the youngster at his first major championship. Tavares, he's won the last 3 golds at major championships in the Worlds. He has to settle for a season best and silver. And Giovanni Felipe continues on what has been a superb set of championships for Mauritius. And that's Anderson, Colorado, being wheeled away in that wheelchair there. Unfortunate for him, heading down that back straight. But these are the type of things that happen. Then you go from the agony on the far side to the joy and ecstasy of this man here who's picked up a bronze medal.
But I really think it's races like that that just show the drama of sport and the reason why we're having huge documentaries and huge media attention being drawn to parasport right now.
Fouls from the top 4 in round 5 of the long jump. This is the 6th and final round. 6 jumps remaining. Fleur Schouten didn't improve, 398. Some illustrious names are in the middle of all that. Desiree Vila for Spain, 4:16 in the previous round. Can she improve right at the end? I think she's okay in terms of where she took off from, but has she been able to produce the goods that would see her even break into the top 4? Top 3 finisher last time in the Europeans in Bydgoszcz. 4:27 her best this season.
You can see she does have a great running stride, bounding really well down that runway. And what you could also see just off that board, she had to really fight in the air there to not flip forward. And that's part of the reason why you're windmilling your arms in that way. She just managed to adjust her center of mass and bring it back, which is fantastic news because that did look like a great jump. And I'm so pleased that she saved that one and saved it for last.
Lifetime best, 4:33, and she goes up into 5th position.
We just saw Anderson, Colorado, who injured himself in the T20 400, just rolled past there as the fans were celebrating and getting into the long jump. Unfortunate for Colorado, but it all goes on. You can see him in the background just there as they go under that little tent. As the next race gets us ready to go, which will be the men's 400 metres T12 medium visual impairment category final.
4 in this. They can go with guides if they wish. 1 of them does, 3 of them don't. And we have one of this week's new world champions involved in this 400 metres T12 final. On the inside, in lane 1, the reigning Southeast Asian Games champion, over 815 in the 4x4 last month for Thailand, Kisanapong Sisuwan, and his guide, Visit Ramautit. In lane 3, for Colombia, the Pan Am bronze medalist in the universal relay, Yamil Acosta. In lane 5, for Tunisia, the new world 1500 metres champion, Roy Jababli. And in lane 7, for Turkey, the reigning European 400 metres champion. He's won that twice in a row. Bronze in the last World Championships in this in 2019. And prior to that, in London as well. So 3 of the 4 are reigning world champions. Quality stuff. Tisuwan in 1, Costa in 3, Jababli 5, Akbulut in 7. And Acosta, if you like, is a reigning medalist with that bronze in Lima at the Pan Ams. So, Javelin, the fastest in the field in terms of lifetime best and season's best. Will that translate to tonight? The final of the men's 400 meters, T12. Medium visual impairment, so it needs to be calm. But not anymore. They're away the first time of asking. Good start by Yamil Acosta from Colombia in lane 3. And he's going well clear, and he has to attack Javelin early on here. He's eaten up the stagger very well, but can he keep it going for the entire 400 meters? He's moved up well in Javelin on the outside. A brilliant 1,500 meters triumph. That would be some double if he can make it work over 415. Aquilot on the outside, the European champion. Tishuan's been left behind a little bit at the moment. But as they move up, Yamil Acosta fighting very hard. Just marginally in front coming into the closing straight. It's Acosta for Colombia. Javelin in second place for Tunisia. Aquilot in third. And now Javelin's fighting back. He's done the double. He's run down Acosta. 48-35. Javelin outkicked Acosta right at the end. Aquilot gets the bronze for Turkey. And it was looking so good for Yamil Acosta. But Javelin just had that extra bit of resolve, that extra little bit left in the tank. Acosta could be the world champion. Instead, he's the first to congratulate Raul Javelin, who's done it over 400 meters.
I just love it when you see two runners go out and commit to running their race plan, and doing it in the way that will work for them. I am just loving these hikes over over these rails at the moment. People just way too excited to get the celebration on.
Well, this is like Pat Cash celebration. Think about it.
And Acosta impressed me so much because he went out and he set a PB in the qualifying round, and a little kiss there for Coach. They're loving the camera at the moment.
He's got the best front row seat right now. He had an even better one in lane 5.
What I love from Acosta is that he went out and he knew that he was going to have to attack early, and that was exactly what he did. He ran that first 200 hard. He really went down that back straight, whereas Javelin, he ran the race his way. He took it at a bit more of a steady pace. And you might think that it's quite a strange pairing, combining the 400 and the 1500, but the way that middle distance racing is going right now, in a 1,500 meters, you still need to have that fast lap and that incredible pace. And Javelin has said that Jakob Ingebrigtsen is his idol, and it looks like he's taking that to the extreme and really trying to mimic him in terms of that last lap speed. And as he came round the corner, Acosta, he was in the lead on the home stretch, and it wasn't until those last 5 meters that the positions change. And again, that is what happens in a 400 meters. We really see the effects of excellent pacing play out in those last 10 meters.
Javelin does the double, and what a double. He has his seat for the night. He ran down Acosta astonishingly well, and after claiming the 1,500 meters title in not too dissimilar circumstances, remember, only led in the final 200 meters, he now claims a terrific 400, 1,500 double. Javelin gets the gold for Tunisia, Acosta the silver for Colombia, and Oguz Aquilot the bronze for Turkey. Such excitement in the field right now. And the men's discus F64 will dip into, and David Blair.
Jeremy Campbell, this is his second attempt in the men's discus throw F64 final. David Blair up then. 58.73. Katnusic is currently in third position. And this here, Dan Greaves with his third attempt. That measures in at 55.64. It's been given up. He's in fourth position behind Katnusic, Blair and Campbell at the top. There's confirmation of that. Campbell, Blair, American 1-2 at the moment after 4 rounds, and Katnusic and Dan Greaves of Great Britain trying to make up some extra ground there. Jeremy Campbell, the world champion.
Caironi, final attempt in the long jump. This for the gold. 5 meters 18 in round 4. Caironi has done enough. And the entire stadium can stand to her as she has regained her crown. She's now a 4-time world champion, 2013, 2015 and 2017. We didn't see her at the last World Championships. A slight hiccup with a cream she was using on the stump, and that meant she missed Dubai, but she didn't miss Tokyo. She's swimming in sand, flying on air, and the world title is hers again. To go with that 100 meters silver, Italy are loving the past 48 hours.
I mean, you can see there what an amazing jumper Martina Caironi is, and Will beside me is a huge fan, and earlier in the week he didn't realize that he told Martina Caironi quite politely but quite directly that she needed to clear the way because he couldn't see the long jump. That is how seriously Will takes his craft.
Well, she's got in the way of everyone else here. She is the champion. Crater and Lowe also in the medals. Final attempt of Crater overtook the Paralympic champion. So Vanessa Lowe gets the bronze for Australia, Crater the silver for Switzerland, and Caironi the gold for Italy. And she can get in our way anytime she likes.
Back to the track we go. Will Danning's just got a way to calm down a little bit. Gets overexcited every now and then. Men's 400 metres T13, least of the visual impairment categories, the final about to head out. In lane 1, Sverd Vigard Dragsen. First major championship at 400 metres. Edwin Masuge of Botswana, he was 7th in 2020 in Tokyo, a semi-finalist in this event in Dubai in 2019. He's one better, he's through to a final. Fukunaga Ryota, first major championships for him as well, 24 years of age, 47.79 his season best set this year. Winda Brainer Bermudez of Colombia didn't get out of the heats in 2020. And the world champion, Johannes Nambala, won gold in 2013 and the last World Championships in Dubai. A silver medalist in 2016 in Rio, a bronze medalist in 2020 in Tokyo. 19 years of age, this man, first major championships. Ivan Hernandez of Spain, 50.26, his lifetime best. Max Marzelia, 21 years of age, also his first major championship. And someone who's taken bronze already here in the 100 metres at these championships, 23 years of age, from Thailand, just to show they can work hard away from those wheelchair categories. Yakarin Damine goes in lane 8. Men's 400 metres T13, the least of the visual impairment categories. 8 to go. is third in 1, Masuge in 2, Fukunaga in 3, Bermudez in 4, Nambala in 5, Hernandez in 6, Marzillier in 7, and Damini in lane 8. Skander Athmani, the world record holder and also the Paralympic champion, not in this event. So being a visual impairment category, the crowd will be extra silent before they get away one full circuit of this track at Stade Charlotte, and they do get away. And it is the Japanese Fukunaga who got away quickest of all in lane 3. Damine, though, has exploded down the back straight in lane 8. He's out in front at the moment. Fukunaga, Nambala in 3rd position has now just dropped back slightly, but on the outside lane you can see there it's Fukunaga trying to catch up with Damine, and then through the middle here comes Johannes Nambala, the reigning world champion. You can see the all red vest there and the black trunks, but the Japanese in Fukunaga on the inside. The 24-year-old, his first major championships. He's going to hold off the world champion and take gold himself. What's the time going to be? 47.80 seconds. Nambala has to settle for a silver medal after winning gold back in 2019. It is Fukunaga Ryota of Japan, 47.79. Well, he's matched his lifetime best, would you believe it? Nambala in 48.14, heading across in second. That's a season best time for him. And Bermudez of Colombia, with a new America's record, has picked up the bronze medal. Well, Fukunaga has equalled the Asian record that he set earlier in his competition. 47.79 with quite some finish. He took off well on the outside. Damine was flying down the back straight, who you just saw take off with the blue vest in front of us. But there's the man who's taking gold, Fukunaga Ryota.
Damine actually caught my eye right from the beginning, because out in lane 8, you could kind of tell he was going to take off as hard as he did just by the way that he set off his blocks. He set his blocks up at such an aggressive angle, which meant that he was not messing around. He wanted to shoot out and run that curve on as straight a line as possible, which also means as fast as possible. And he flew down that back straight, just trying to get out in front as possible. But unfortunately, he wasn't quite able to hang on at the end. Again, we can just see the effects of pacing. I know we talk about it all the time, but that really is what this 400-meter race is about. You can just see Damine coming through at the end there, trying to fight for that 4th place, and he was so close. And I just love it when athletes go for it, and Damine really did. That was a half a second PB, but that was our champion punching the air. He knew he got that one right. And it's interesting, some people always think that lane 7 and 8 are the worst ones. I actually love lane 8 because it gives you the chance to get out and just run your own race.
You have to be positive, don't you, from lane 8? And I can tell you that he's equalled the Asian record, but the rest of the field, season best for 2nd, America's record for 3rd, lifetime best for 4th, season best for 5th, lifetime best for 6th, lifetime best for 7th. Quite incredible for the athletes to do that. There it is there on your screen for you to see. The only one who didn't, Masuge, who finished in 8th position. Fukunaga takes it. Nambala 2nd, the outgoing champion, and Bermudez of Colombia picks up the bronze medal. So the discus throw.
Yeah, Pembroke with that astonishing effort a little bit earlier.
You can just see there that he didn't quite get the release that he wanted from that discus. When the discus is released in balance, it will fly, and you can just see it was wobbling a little bit, and then as it comes down, it's literally just going to drop out of the sky on its side. And again, that's not a strength issue. It's just missing the touch a little tiny bit at the end.
Well, Campbell stays first, 59.05. That one there, 56.75. David Blair, his compatriot, is in second position. Katnusic of Croatia is currently in third. And next up, it'll be the Great Britain team captain, Dan Greaves, who'll be due up in the circle. Now, he will have some work to do. He's got only a little less than a metre to actually make up. He won gold back in Athens, way back in 2004, did Dan Greaves. Silver in Sydney back in 2000. Also in 2012 in London. He's a four-time European champion. So the Great Britain skipper has given himself a team talk, and he heads into the circle. We saw his family at the hotel today, didn't we? You were having a chat with them.
We did. He has quite a cheering crew here, and I can't imagine anything more exciting than watching your dad compete in the World Championships.
Yeah, his mother and father are here, his wife is here, and also his two kids are here as well. I think they're just enjoying Paris. Not too sure if they're that concerned about the sport, but they will be at the moment as Greaves throws it out there. His best, his third attempt at 55.64. His season best is 58.15. Now, if he was to throw that, he would be up into the bronze medal position.
You can just see the flight on that disc. That was very well released. It flies perfectly. And the thing about Dan is he is such a beautiful technician. You can see that as he whips that arm around as he spins, it comes off like a slingshot at full extension. And you want that arm at full extension because as he's spinning and as the disc is held out from the center, it has to go at the same speed as the center, which means it's essentially going faster.
Well, you can see there he's moved up into the third position, 57.92. So Katnusic, who is due up next, has been relegated to fourth position.
Well, the hot finals are continuing right across this Stade Charlotte. There's a bumper crowd on this Saturday night in Paris. It's the final of the men's 800 metres T53. The second strongest, second fastest of the wheelchair racing category. And we've got 8 greats ready to roll. France have got prospects here on the inside. Nicolas Brinon, bronze in the 1 and the 4 in the 2014 Europeans. In lane 2 for the United States, bronze in the 400 here this week is Brian Seaman. In lane 3, the reigning Southeast Asian Games and Paralympic champion over 400 metres. The 100 and 400 champion this week, going for the hat-trick, Ponsakorn Payo of Thailand. In lane 4, also for Thailand, bronze in the Southeast Asian Games last month, 7th in the Paralympic final in Tokyo, Masabre Ase. Next up, in lane 5 for Canada, silver in the 400 and the 1500 metre finals here this week, the 11-time world champion, Brent Lakatos. In lane 6 for Thailand, a man who won 3 relay medals at Sydney 2000, Sopa Intasin. In lane 7 for Korea, 51 years old, bronze in the 800 of the last World Championships in Dubai, Yoo Byung-hun of Korea. And in lane 8 for France, he turns 52 in a fortnight's time. Bronze in the 800 at the Tokyo Paralympic Games, Pierre Fairbank. A regular medalist, they all are. Fastest of this field, Ponsakorn Payo, the reigning Paralympic champion over 100, 400 and 800. And the reigning Asian champion over 4 distances. 3 golds, last month at the Southeast Asian Games. So it's Brignon in 1, Seaman in 2, Payo in 3, Arce in 4, Lagados 5, Intess in 6, Hughes 7, Fairbank 8 in this men's 800 metres T53 final. Brent Lagados out in front, ahead of Payo, ahead of Fairbank. They are the main danger man here, with Seaman in 4th spot, Intestin in 5th. And remember, Thailand with 3 in this have got a chance of a clean sweep. But as they break inside, it's Brent Lagados who leads for Canada, Payo for Thailand, Seaman in 3rd with 550 to go.
Okay, well, you can see there that Brent Lakatos clearly wanted to go to the front, and Payo sensed the danger and quickly closed that gap. Now, Brent started off really quickly, but right now, that move wasn't decisive enough, and he's currently letting that pack behind him, and the danger is that someone's going to come around, as they're doing right now, and block him in. He either has to hold his line and make sure he doesn't get blocked in, and right now it looks like he's decided to go for speed.
That was the bell. Lakatos leading all the way through, but Arce made a great manoeuvre up from 6th to 2nd, and now Payo, who's going for his 3rd gold of the week, edged him out of the way. It's Canada 1, Thailand 2, Thailand 3. Now Pongsadorn Payo's trying to make a move on the outside, and he's hitting the front here for Thailand. If he can, going up into 2nd place. It's Lagados who leads, Payo in 2nd, Seaman up into 3rd. Now they're coming into the straight. It's Brent Lagados trying to hold off Payo. Lagados with 2 silvers, Payo with 2 golds this week. Payo is fighting back. Lagados is holding on. Payo in 2nd. Lakatos the world champion. Seaman takes the bronze, 134.32. It is a dozen world titles for Brent Lakatos, and Payo with those 3 Paralympic titles, those 2 world crowns this week. He has the momentum, but Brent Lakatos had the resolve in the final 25 metres to take the gold for Canada. Steph Reed.
I mean, you can see that fist pump at the end. Lakatos and Payo have been going at it for several years now, and they both respect and both really want to beat each other every time they get on the track, and we always knew this was going to be an interesting race. Brent is the world record holder and the reigning world champion.
Championship record as well.
Now's a good time, though, to say that he is actually your husband.
Oh, yes, he's my husband. Yeah, sorry, a bit of background there. And the thing was, Payo was the reigning Olympic champion. So these 2 guys going head-to-head. Now, Brent clearly was intending to get to the front of the pack all along, and he powered out. And as I say, Payo sensed that danger, and he quickly closed it down in the back. And in the 800 meters, positioning is everything, because you just don't have a lot of time, and if you're out of position when it comes to the final lap, you can see there how long those chairs are. It's quite a ways to not only come around but also make up that 2 meters, and just watching them come down that home straight. This is a race that came down to top speed and who had it at the end. And I think actually the last time you two would have been commentating on the 200 meters, and it came down, and the finish once again was this close, and here we are seeing it in the 800.
And Lakados held on. Payo was reaching up, but Lakados with one final drive to make it, and Pongsadorn Payo unbeaten this week until that moment. Brent Lakados, who had those great successes in London in 2017, remember, of course, silver in the 4 and the 15 here, but now he has the gold. What a glorious success. And Arno Mol, who's in his coaching team, who's one of the best coaches around, involved with the Netherlands for so long, but now he's spreading the glory. And Brent Lakados, 12 world titles, 4 silvers, 2 bronzes, just edged Payo out. And Seaman, I have to say, we saw the big move coming on the outside there with 200 to go. That, another bronze to add to his 3rd place in the 400 earlier this week. Great success for Brent Lakados. Gold for Canada, championship record 134.31, but the person who's lost that championship record won't be disappointed. That is Brent Lakados. Payo, the silver, 800s behind for Thailand, and Brian Seaman, the bronze for the United States. Well, what a tremendous victory again for Brent Lakados. And Well, if it wasn't for us occasionally mentioning it, thanks to the professionalism of my co-colleague, you wouldn't know that Steph Reed was married to that man. Now, if you were sat alongside her, you'd know.
I must confess, I did not see anything that happened after the first two on that race.
Well, I took a video of it, so you can watch it later, along with Will Downing's absolutely sensational commentary. So well played to both of you. Ali Perouge of Iran, he's in second position, 60.96 with his third throw. This his fourth attempt. Well, that's out around that 60-metre mark. It's actually over. I think that might be slightly more than what he threw the last time. So he's gone 56.89, 57.43, 60.96 for Ali Perouge, a silver medalist at Tokyo 2020. Daniel Pembroke leads. A new European record he threw with his second attempt, 70.50. You would suspect that unless something dramatic happens, that European record from Pembroke will also result in a gold medal as well. 62.72, so he has improved, but it's not good enough to catch up to Pembroke. Still a good 8 metres in front. And there is the man in question. Paralympic champion. Pacing around like a cat on a hot tin roof for his fourth throw. We saw how happy he was a little earlier. There was sheer joy after his second throw with that 70.50. His third, 4 metres down on that. Here he goes. Throw number 4 for Pembroke. Well, you heard the roar. It's out past that 65-metre mark. You can see there that curves around. I don't think it's out there near the European record he broke, but it is still a decent throw. When you watch the technique and you watch the sheer power when he releases and roars, great crossover. Can't miss the footwear anyway. I think he's trying to say to his coach, maybe I could have done better with that. 66.27. So he stays in first place. He's just trying to work out that crossover and when he gets into that throwing position with his feet apart. So we're heading back around the track now from the finishing line and where the javelin was to the men's 100 metres T52. 2 heats in this one. There were due to be 7 starting in this one. We have lost one though. We'll get to that in a moment. Karatnasiri of Thailand, who won bronze here in the 1500 metres. Goes from lane 2. Sam McIntosh, 4th in this in Tokyo 2020. He was 6th back in 2019 in Dubai. Colombia's Christian Torres didn't get out of the heats back in 2016, so he'll be looking to get to the final this time. Someone who needs no introduction, Babe Bosch of Switzerland. Took silver back in 2004 in Athens. He's been around for a long time. Also bronze in 98. Brilliant. I love things like that. Quirkiness to the extreme. Ito Tatsuya of Japan. And Yongyang Dae of the Korean Republic. Now in lane 8, it was due to be Kęstutis Skukas, the para swimmer who turns 56 next month. He does not start though. So a field of 6. Sam McIntosh will go in lane 2. 17.07, his lifetime best. Will be keen to make it through to a final and try and improve on that mark of 4th in Tokyo in 2020. And it is the Colombian Christian Torres who gets away quickest. But here comes Sam McIntosh as he speeds up and down the outside. It's the Korean Yong Jandae. Sam McIntosh is going to get second. Jong is going to take it. And the Colombian is going to come across Torres in third position. It is the first three who do go through. And Torres, he got away to a quick start, but he just couldn't hold on. But he does take a third position. McIntosh second, but it is Yong Jandae who misses out, and Ito of Japan who picks it up and takes first position. Well, Torres got out to a very quick start. McIntosh in second position. The three of them go through. That man there, Steph, Torres, when he got out to that start, I thought it was going to be him who was going to really go on with it, but he got caught around the 50 or 60 metre mark and he just couldn't hold on as the lactic got hold of him. That man there, Ito, we saw that celebration at the beginning.
Well, I'm not sure it was lactic he was feeling, possibly not in 100. But in the 100 meters, you have to do two things. You have to get up to speed really quickly, and we see Torres do that amazingly. His hand speed is unmatched. The thing is, right around this section here, this is where top speed comes into play. And you can see this smooth, downward, powerful stroke of Ito, and he just ends up closing down. And so you're having to do two things, as I say. One, quick hand speed, get offline quickly, but then get up to that top speed. And I'm so pleased for Ito of Japan. This is possibly one of my favorite stories of how to get into parasport. Apparently, after his injury, he ordered a wheelchair to help him out with his daily life and didn't realize until it came that it was a racing wheelchair. And that's how he started.
A little bit difficult to get down the lift in a racing wheelchair if you need to.
Not the most practical, but definitely the most fun.
Well, we saw that. I called it a celebration. It was almost like he knew what he was going to do before the race even started. Ito. He heads through along with McIntosh and Torres. Season best for Yong, who almost got into the positions there. Bate Bosch in fourth and Karat Nasiri in sixth. Skukas did not start.
Quickly going to leap back over to the discus. And it's Jeremy Campbell in second spot. These are the last two throws of the competition. It's USA 1 and 2, but in what order? Dan Greaves has won the bronze for Great Britain. 59.05, the best so far for Campbell. He's given that as much as he can. He's just not quite been able to get that through.
You could see the difference there on the flight of that discus. On the previous throw that we saw, it just suddenly popped out of the air, whereas in that one just kept on going. And this is an event where the men actually like to have a wind into their face, because when it's windy, that discus will just get that little bit of extra flight, just like an airplane. And look at that, that one was farther. That one goes out to 60.33.
So David Blair takes the gold for the United States. Jeremy Campbell has the silver. It is a USA 1 and 2. 60-36 with his penultimate throw, edging him in front ahead of Campbell. And right now, United States throwing is in a very great state. It's brilliant for Dan Greaves to still be, after the massive high 11 years ago of London 2012, to be still there and still taking top honours, top medals.
Speaking of unique ways to get into parasport, I remember chatting with David Blair, and he was actually throwing distances way back in the early 2000s that would have earned him a medal at the Paralympics, except he had no idea he was classifiable. He was still competing for his university.
A remarkable athlete. He's 47 now, David Blair. He had a 16-year break from the sport. The man from Utah, the Paralympic champion at Rio 2016. And it's been between these two in this category for the last 7 years or so. It's so competitive. And in the end, there was only 2 meters 40 between the top three. 3 meters 50 between the top four. He feels mighty real. He feels like a world champion. David Blair with the gold, Jeremy Campbell the silver. And Dan Greaves gets the bronze. He was born to be a thrower.
See, now Dan Greaves is going to have a problem because there is a very, very cute mascot that comes with those medals, and he has 2 kids.
Well, this is Dan Greaves going back in time a little bit. So Dan Greaves looking to get himself firmly into the top 3 here. He's got that one out towards 50 meters, 57.92. The bronze medal for Dan Greaves for Great Britain. Jeremy Campbell in this final round sending out to 60.33, 3 centimeters away from Blair's 5th round attempt. And this from Blair going out to 60.36, his penultimate effort. And that earns him the gold. What a margin in the end, 3 centimeters. So USA 1, USA 2, and it's more field event glory for these two.
So much work and effort and training, and I hesitate to say sacrifice because it is awesome being an athlete, but yes, sacrifice goes into creating moments like that. And you can just see there are photographers littered all over this stadium just waiting to capture those moments.
Don't do requests, just want to say these are the results. David Blair takes the gold for the United States, 60.36. Jeremy Campbell, the silver, 60.33. Dan Greaves, the bronze for Great Britain, 57.92. Don't do requests. A couple of athletes not here who are watching, I know. Regular European discus champion Eve McCarthy, retired now, but still watching. Jordan Lee, the high jumper, out injured with an ankle injury. European bronze medalist, has been watching all week as well. Gaurav Margaret. American beauty in terms of the medals table.
Can't say I've ever heard Bruce Springsteen mixed like that. Interesting.
Well, there was a remix of Dancing in the Dark, which was used as a World Cup theme in 1986. It was the sound of the summer. And a few sound performances here will put the top 3 into the final of the men's 100 meters T52. The 11-time European champion, now 5-time world, 2-time Paralympic champion Thomas Garspickler of Austria goes in lane 2 of this men's 100 meter T52 second heat. In lane 3 for Switzerland, 8th in the 15 in the last Worlds, Fabian Blum. In lane 4 for Mexico, bronze in the 100 in the Paralympic Games 2 years ago, world silver as well for Leonardo Perez. In lane 5 for Belgium, the new world 400 meters champion from Liège, setting his own standard, Maxime Carabin. In lane 6 for Great Britain, coached by Jenny Archer through the Weir Archer Academy, it's Marcus Parano-Daly, 17:40 his lifetime best this year. In lane 7 for South Africa, 7th in the 1500 meters final here, Brandon Big. And in lane 8, on his championship debut 4 years after starting this sport from scratch, for Canada, Anthony Bouchard, 8th in the 400 final. So, it's the top 3 and the next 2 fastest who will be in the final here. And Carabin is the fastest of this field, 16:53 his lifetime best. He's heard from the palace in Brussels. The king and queen are aware. So Geer, Spickler, Bloom, Perez, Carabin, Perrineau, Daly, Beek and Bouchard. Top 3 to qualify. And they are away. Perrineau Daly got away quite well in lane 6, and here goes Fabian Bloom brilliantly for Switzerland immediately, and Perez is moving up. There's a great start by Bloom for Switzerland, and Carabin is moving up now, and Carabin's coming really into a stride. Carabin's going to win it. 17.29, and the Belgian is in big form. Well, Fabian Bloom had a brilliant start and dominated 85 metres of that, but not the last 15. A season best for the Swiss. But Maxime Carabin is in maximum form. Perrineau Daly is in the final as well for Great Britain. And that's great news for their T52 sprinters. Perez in 4th place, I think might be okay actually with that. Bouchard will have to wait in 18.10. But Maxime Carabin, we have found a new star. Well, on Thursday night, when he won that 400 metres, and Perrineau Daly, by the way, who has come through 2 of the best coaches around. But I have to say, Bloom did so well for so long in that. But, well, we have just found, I think, a new star in wheelchair racing. Maxime Carabin going to the final. It was front page news on Sporza, one of the main Belgian sports websites, on Thursday, and with good reason.
I was so excited to watch this race in particular, especially after that 400 meters, just to see what Maxime Carabin had up his sleeve. And again, we have this interesting, not necessarily dilemma, but you can see, is it better to have a really, really fast start, or is it better to have a fast top-end speed? And it is a really important question, because you'll notice a little bit of variety in terms of the gloves that are being used. Now, it used to be a long time ago that everybody would use soft gloves, and now there's been this big switch to hard gloves. And I think the general consensus is that the soft gloves, which is what we see Perrineau Daly using, tend to be better for the start, whereas the hard gloves, what we see Maxime Carabin using, tend to be better for top-end speed. And I think we have that question answered just there. Clearly, top-end speed makes a big difference. I couldn't quite tell from the reaction because it was quite muted, and I do wonder if perhaps the start didn't quite go to what he wanted. He seems a little bit frustrated there. He certainly cannot be frustrated with that top-end speed, so I wonder if he's going to have a little bit of a reassessment ahead of that final and see if he can't get out a bit quicker.
Maxime Carabin, the fastest in this. The top 5 go through. Carabin for Belgium, Bloom for Switzerland, Perrineau Daly for Great Britain, Perez for Mexico, and Anthony Bouchard too for Canada in his championship debut. And Thomas Gaar-Spickler this time misses out in 6th place. Glorious night in Paris again. Well, the crowds on this home straight have been royally entertained. A brilliant long jump final again. Are they ever anything but? USA with 1 and 2 in the discus. And we've got Javelin 2, F30.
Marek Wycieczki, we're into the final round. He's in 6th position. 58.52 with his 4th attempt for Wycieczki. Bronze medalist of the Europeans in 2014, silver in 18 and 21. Looks like he's going to be finishing out of the medals this time, though, in the World Championships.
The javelin throwers, we've been watching them at the top of the first bend, and they've been doing so well just to deal with the constant stop-starts that have been happening just because of the different 400 meters. And again, the great thing about being in the stadium is that you realize there is literally something going on everywhere that you look. And while it's super entertaining for us as an audience, It can be distracting as an athlete, and you really do have to discipline yourself to go in and out of focus, and especially when if your teammate wins something, you want to go and celebrate. There is just such a range of skills that athletes need to be successful in addition to physical prowess.
Yeah, quite incredible indeed. Here goes Spain's Hector Cabrera. He's currently in 5th position, 59.04. By the way, Vedetsky's last throw was 56.46, so he stays in 6th, but Cabrera in 5th. A season best 59.04, I should say, as well, with that 4th throw. Now, he's only 75 centimetres. He did 76 centimetres to catch up with Aguilera Cruz, who's in 3rd position. He hasn't done it though, 58.68, so he remains in 5th position and will finish there. So Syed Nick Parast of Iran. He's 10 centimetres behind Aguilera Cruz. Now Aguilera Cruz, by the way, the Cuban, has finished 4th in the last Paralympic Games and also the last World Championships. He'd be sitting here at the moment watching this thinking, please don't go past my mark, I want a medal. Let's see what Nick Parast can do. Can he pull it out of the bag at the end? I don't think he has. It's gone past that 55-metre mark, but it certainly hasn't got up near 59.79. So it looks like the Cuban, Aguilera Cruz, will finally get that medal he's been coveting.
On that slow motion there, you could actually just see the javelin as it was almost shaking and fluttering. And again, that is just an example of, as they release that, they're holding it in a very specific way. And as you release it, you have to really control all that power while sending the javelin in a smooth trajectory. Otherwise, unfortunately, it's losing distance.
Well, 57.36, so this man here does have a bronze medal. Can he do better, though, than what he's got? He's got to find about 4 metres further. He's got nothing to lose. And he hasn't found it. That's well below the 55-metre mark, that one. But he does take the bronze.
Now in a few moments we're going to watch well, hopefully Pembroke take his throw, and what you'll see the difference here is he has this release, but he doesn't quite have that same power and that same snapping forward as his hip. While it looks like, we always often think of throwers of having really strong arms, actually this is a complete body action.
54.34, he takes the bronze, does Aguilera Cruz. We will come back and see Perouge and Pembroke with their final throws, but at the moment there is greatness on the track. That lady there in front of you, Amara Duran, never beaten in a final, ever. 31 golds in total. Folgado Garcia of Spain took gold in the European Championships in 2021. Reigning European champion goes in lane 1. Already won gold in the 400 metres here. It is Amara Duran. 8 Paralympic golds, 12 World Championship golds, and 11 Parapan American golds. Quite some athlete. Perez Lopez, silver in the 400 metres. Her twin sister Linda is the T11 Paralympic champion at the 100 metres. And Spaniards bookending this one in lanes 1 and 7 is Melanie Burgess Gamez. Lifetime best of 12.58. Took bronze in the 4x100 metres back in 2015. Silver medalist in 2018 in Berlin. So the two you would expect to see in this one up front would be that lady there, Amara Duran, and next to her, Perez Lopez of Venezuela. Silver in the 400 metres behind Duran, who took the gold. I wonder whether she's got any tips from her twin sister Linda, who's the T11 Paralympic champion. We shall see. Folgado Garcia in 1, Durand in 3, Perez Lopez in 5, Burgess Gamez in lane 7. They're away, and it is Amara Durand who gets out fastest of all, her and her guide, Junior Kinderland. Many times it's just a case of how fast they are going to go. She holds the world record. 11:63 is the time, so it's outside the world and championship record. She takes the victory ahead of Perez Lopez. She got away very, very fast, and that is the key to Amara Durand. She now has 32 gold medals since being in finals, has never lost one, and quite frankly, never looks like losing one. The only person who would lose it would be her herself if something went wrong. Season best time though of 11:62. Perez Lopez 12:57 with a silver. And it is Folgado Garcia with a lifetime best who takes the bronze medal. Well, Perez Lopez, what more could she do? Almost a second behind Amara Durand. And the great Cuban, she is wonderful to watch, and her guide, they are so in tune with each other when they run.
To be honest, I actually don't even want to talk over as she's running because it really is just so beautiful and so in sync. And I think we often underappreciate just how difficult it is to do because she makes it look so easy. But I think the thing that's really impressed me about Durand throughout these championships, we've already seen her in the 400 meters and we watched her in the heats. And to be honest, she actually didn't come into these championships with season best times that were that quick. And I say not that quick, they actually were still really quick, but by her standard, really quick. But what she's done is she's really rounded into form. In each of her heats, she set new season bests, and then in the finals, she has absolutely, obliterated the rest of the field. And this is an athlete who knows how to peak at the right moment. Athletes aren't robots. You can't be at your best all the time. And training plans are designed so that you have your best performance at the championships and deliver the best when it matters most. And she does that every single time.
Well, if you just turned on the coverage then as that was finishing, you'd have been forgiven for thinking that was a race for first between the three athletes who were in second, third and fourth, because Amara Durand was so far in front. There she is, and I know we talk about guides and how they have to work well with each other, but there's a lot of practice that goes into the way that they run and the timing of doing it over and over and over again, and just working on that synchronicity and making sure that every small part of the cog is there.
The two runners really do have to become one unit. We talk about the relationship athletes have with their wheelchairs or with their prostheses, and this is just the embodiment of that. You have to have somebody that not only matches your style, but they spend a lot of time together. You have to have someone that matches the personality as well.
Well, season best for Amara Durand. You may have seen then that was Aguilera Cruz who took bronze in the Javelin for F13, who ran across and gave each other a hug, which they both picked up medals. Perez Lopez, by the way, has taken the silver, and it is Spain through Folgado Garcia with a lifetime best in third. But that is an absolute champion in Amara Durand. 32 golds in finals, has never lost one. What a performance. And the crowd have really picked up now, haven't they? We may be coming towards the end of the evening, but they are absolutely loving things. Well, Daniel Pembroke with the new European record, 70.50 metres with his second throw. His last was 63.54. Perouge took the silver medal in 63.70, but that man there, Pembroke, he was all class, and he obliterated the field by a long way. 6 metres and 80 centimetres further than the throw of Ali Perouge.
And remember, he was trying to qualify for London 2012 in the Olympic Games. He'd been a top 10, top 11 finisher in the World Juniors the year before, and then his eyesight deteriorated majorly, and now he's a Paralympian, Paralympic and world champion. It is a remarkable story. It is another goal for Great Britain as well. big home support for what's coming next. The French fans are out in force, and you just saw Gachi Makunda, who we've seen in a couple of finals here, waiting to see if his colleague can pull another big result out of the fire. And it was a Bertrand earlier claimed bronze in the long jump. He's based in the Netherlands, actually, with their big crew up there. Loads of eclectic, famous, successful Dutch training partners, as we heard earlier today, Stephanie.
We did, actually. We managed to crash a photo shoot with Fleur Jean and just get to share the moment with her. She obviously was very happy and now has quite a lot of media duties to do, which is fantastic. And we've just been seeing the media interest in these games has been absolutely huge. And that's exactly what you want to see. There is this competition, there is drama, there's amazing athleticism on show, which you've been seeing all week. And of course, the world's media would be interested.
Loads and loads and loads. And if you think that's a huge amount, just wait until next year for the Paralympic Games. I have to say, Marcus Rame, just talking to a very familiar name in terms of para-athletics coverage, Ed Harry, last night. He said Marcus Rame did every possible interview going after winning his gold medal in the long jump last night. And he was doing interviews for about an hour afterward. Every single request was fulfilled in full. He is a magnificent walking advertisement for parasport, and well, I have to say, Dan Pembroke very much is as well. A European record 70-50 that was.
I was chatting with one of the photographers, and when Marcus Rame was jumping, there was essentially a competition going on to see who could get not only the best photo of him jumping, but who could upload it the quickest. Again, that just shows how much people are loving parasport and want to know more about it.
A crammed back straight to the Stade Charlotte. The banner's up for Timothy Adolphe as he seeks to pick up his second medal. It would be a fourth for France. They've 3 bronzes so far through Bertrand Adolphe and Manon Geneste. But now they're looking for more. We are all ready for the final of the men's 100 meters T11. Still quite a bit of action tonight after this, but it's the last final of the night. The world record holder, the reigning Paralympic champion, is in this. We start off first of all in lane 1 for Namibia. The first Namibian to win either an Olympic or Paralympic gold in athletics. Actually, Olympic or Paralympic gold, full stop. 2016 in Rio, he did that. Anania Shikongo and his guide, Evan Tiuju. In lane 3 for Greece, the Paralympic champion, the world record holder, the former European champion, Athanasios Gavalis of Greece, and his guide, Demetrios Christophas. In lane 5 for France, the 2019 world champion, the reigning European champion over 400 meters, Timothy Adolphe of France, and his guide, Jeffrey Lamy. And in lane 7, silver in the 400 here when Adolphe won the bronze for Spain, the reigning Paralympic 400 champion, Cara Descarrega, and his guide, Jose Maria Marvazon. It is a marvelous field. It is a quality field. Champions all. Shikongo, Gavalis, Adolphe, and Descarrega. And it feels like so much of Paris has got their view on this. The fan club in for Timothy Adolphe, who's already won one of their 3 bronzes so far. Adolphe being helped in by Charles Reynard. 6 European titles, world gold 4 years ago in Dubai. Silver in the Paralympic Games in Tokyo. Every last piece of furniture being fixed. Shikongo 1, Javelin 3, Adolf 5, Descarrega 7. We are away, and Adolf is away, but not for long. Now, nothing to the naked eye, for me, noticeable. I didn't think so anyway. Let's see, let's watch carefully here. Remembering that there are 8 people and 2 men in each team, and well, for me there was nothing obvious there, so it may be a faulty start. They all went out together, unless there was a bit of shuffling in the blocks, in which case that would be a yellow card for interfering with the start, but not for a false start. But we'll see.
Now, in the men's T11 class, it is a requirement to use blocks.
Javelin went early. He went before the gun. Minus 0.14 in lane 3. Javelin, the Paralympic champion, he went before his guide went before the gun. His guide, Chrysafis, went before the gun. And whatever about going too quickly after, I'm afraid the guide went before.
In the men's T11 class, the blocks are mandatory, and so it's one of the races where you can actually look up the reaction time because the pressure plates are turned on. So this is not going to be a visual call by the judge. They will have to look at the reaction time data that's come through and make their call.
Now that is a yellow card he's been shown. Here's the guide who went first. And, well, the card that came out, from what I can see, was not red. Well, Javelin will start, and that's good news for him. Just don't do it again. Shikongo and Javelin have been Paralympic champions. Descarrega as well. He still is reigning 400 champion. Adolf 400 world champion 4 years ago. So Shikongo in 1, Javelin 3, Adolf 5, Descarrega 7 in this final of the men's 100 meters T11. They're away this time. Great start by Adolf. Huge roar around the stadium. Javelin is moving up well for Greece, the Paralympic champion. Javelin is coming through. Javelin takes it. Shikongo second for me. Adolf trying to move up into third, but Javelin has done it again. 10.94, the unofficial winning time, just outside his championship record from the heats, and he has equalled it. Greece take the gold, equaling his time earlier in the heats, and Adolf gets the bronze for France. Shikongo equals the African record for Namibia to get the silver. Descarrega was edged out by 100th of a second in lifetime best time. Adolf now knows, the crowd now knows, that he gets the bronze for France. It's their 4th of the week, 4 medals, they've all been bronze, but Athanasios Javelin takes the gold. It is a great time for Greece. For all his connections, it means the world to be the champion of the world. Adolf gave it his all. He was only edged out of his silver by 100. Think of Descarrega, 200ths away from his silver, and he doesn't get a medal. Shikongo, that famous Rio 2016 gold for his country, and he's still winning medals for Namibia, the silver. But Javelin, with his great triumph, a career-making triumph in Tokyo, has added to it in Paris a year before he can do it again in this city.
That was such a close race and such a close start, and it really took until the latter half of that race for Javelin to start separating himself. But my goodness, the tension at the beginning. When we started, the stadium was going absolutely wild, cheering for Adolphe, and then everybody quieted for the start, and then there was the false start. And the amount of presence and focus that you have to then refocus for the race ahead and just forget what has happened. And Javelin is actually studying psychology at the moment, and I often wonder if it's a benefit or a distraction for an athlete to be too analytical. Clearly, it's working for him right now, and right now the guide is just slowing down because he cannot cross first, otherwise they will be disqualified as a pair. But what a great race and just great execution.
Look at that blanket across the line for second, third and fourth. Javelin was in a class of his own. He had to be careful with his start. He did get a yellow card there right at the start, so his team couldn't afford to do it again. They didn't. They got the victory, and for the family, for the connections, for the relations, for the family and friends, it is a gold medal that's coming home to Greece with Athanasios Javelin. But look at that margin. Take the guides out of it, it's down to the athletes. And the finishing time for those behind this man, who's equaled his own championship record. So that's twice in 24 hours he did it. He did it last night on the French national holiday here. And Javelin is showing really great consistency. And it was a world record he set in taking Paralympic gold in Tokyo in 2021. Javelin does it again, 10.93 to equal the championship record. Chikongo the silver for Namibia, 11.11, and that is an African record. And Adolphe gets the bronze for France. And that'll have him in L'Equipe tomorrow. And he's on their TV channel now. They're the national channel, a free sports channel in France that are showing this all week. It's a lovely buzz around this corner of Paris, without a doubt. Teamwork. Athanasios Javelin and Dimitris Chrysapis, the team that delivered Greece their latest glorious triumph. And Timothy Adolphe will be greeting his public as well. But I mean, this is top-level sport. And just to be here in the flesh, I mean, if you consider that Paralympic Games in Tokyo, his family couldn't go to, nobody could go to. The public couldn't attend due to those COVID protocols. So that will be the first time his family have been present to see their man win the big prize globally.
Well, unfortunately, we'll have to leave that for now because we have still some work to do on the track. Men's 100 metres T35. This is the opening round of 2. First 3 will go through to the final. Next 2 fastest will advance after that. Diego Gonzalez, 7th in the 200 metres early in the championships. First major championship for him. Carl Keyworth, 4th in the 200 for the 26-year-old. Marshall Zachary was 6th in that 200. He was 7th in 2019 and 2020 at the Worlds in Paris in this one. Ihor Svidov, the championship record holder, he took gold in the 200 metres. He's the world champion in this. And Bao Chu-yu of Hong Kong didn't get out of the heats in Dubai in 2019. Will go from lane 7. Sviatov with the season best time there of 12.20, 11.47. his lifetime best, that championship record, of course, 11:77 that he set on the 15th of November 2019 in Dubai. So the crowd just being willed to silence somewhat as the celebrations after the T11 100 still continue. We do get away though, and here's Sviatov, who really blasts out along with Kyle Keyworth, who got the fastest start of all, but Sviatov is going to take it. What's the time going to be? 11.92 seconds. And it is Keyworth who comes across in second position, the British athlete. I thought he got away to a very fast start, did Keyworth. He was fourth in the 200 metres, just missing out on a medal there, so he'll be looking for something special in this. The top three do go through. Sviatov in 11.91, Keyworth in 12.80, and Zachary goes through third in 13.28 seconds. So they're the three who automatically go through. And then after that, we'll find out who the fastest qualifiers are, Steph Reed.
Well, they certainly will not be doing an hour of media like Marcus Brem because they still have a final to come, so they'll save that for later. In the men's T35 category, it is optional to use starting blocks, and we can see there that Kyle Keyworth certainly knows how to use those well. Now, in the men's T35 category, it is a coordination and balance impairment that severely to moderately affects primarily your lower legs. So what you will see as they run is, if muscles tend to be a little bit tight or there possibly isn't as much range of motion, maybe the knees won't come up as high or maybe the technique won't be as traditional. However, it certainly does not stop them from running very, very fast. It was a great show there from Sietsvab just about how, as you get to those parts of the 100 meters around the 70 and 80 where you're just starting to decelerate a little bit, the best thing that you can do is just try and relax, not fight it, but just maintain that speed and try and decelerate as minimally as possible.
Well, he's a double European champion from 18 and 21. He's a double world champion, Igor Sviatov, from 2017 and 19. He took gold in 2016. He took silver in 2020. So he'll be looking to make it 3 World Championship golds in a row. He'll go in the final, and he will certainly go as the favourite, the Ukrainian. Sviatov takes it, a season best 11.91. Keyworth lifetime best at 12.80, and Marshall Zachary 13.28 going through in third.
Tonight's action has been on fire. A gala night in Paris.
Well, away from the track, we've had plenty happening in the field as well. So it hasn't just been the joy on the track. We've had the field women's shot put F33 final. Asmahan Bujadar in second position. But this, her final attempt. Bujadar is the reigning Paralympic champion. She won gold in the Worlds in 2017. And she needed to pull something out of the bag in her final throw. And she did it that. 7.06, a season best, takes her up to claim the gold medal. Maria Strong, T72 gold for her earlier in these championships, with a new Oceania record taking a silver. And Oleksiak of Poland takes the bronze medal ahead of Kran with an Asian record in fourth position. Men's shot put F35. Norbakov of Uzbekistan. 16.78, a season best for the Uzbekistan athlete Norbakov. Good enough to see him pick up the gold medal ahead of Ura with a season best, and Fu of China, who takes the bronze medal. Gold in 2019 for Norbakov, also in 2023.
Well, remember, in 15 minutes' time, the final of the men's 100 metres T54. The thrills continue. Now, we've got one more heat to go in this T35, the men's 100 metres.
We do have at the end of the evening, just to whet your appetite, the men's 100 metres T54 wheelchair final. So stick around, because after this second heat, the crowd will get another final to finish the evening with. It's been quite some day. In the evening session, 15 finals, 5 in the field, and that T54 men's final at the end of the evening will be the 10th on the track in the evening session. 6 finals in the morning, 21 in total, and yet again we've seen championship and world records, lifetime bests and season bests across the board. It has been superb to watch. The crowds have loved it. The weather has calmed down. We've been very lucky with the weather. The rain hit during the middle of the day, it dried up, and the wind has actually disappeared during the evening, so we haven't had any issues at all. It has been something to see. There's Andrew Parsons, the IPC president on the left, and the head of World Para-Athletics. Away to the right there, Paul Fitzgerald. Craig Spencer's on TV as well. Had a chat with him earlier, the marketing and communications head of the IPC. Good to see them here and celebrating the occasion. Smile for the camera. Great to see those smiles and the enjoyment that everyone is taking out of the entertainment which has been provided here. I have to say the entertainment has been very, very good at these Paralympics World Championships. I've absolutely loved it as we've gone along.
As usual, this has been a really fun week. It's the men's 100 metres T35. It's the second heat. Hold your horses. We still have a bit to go in this. Global Championship debut for Matthew Payton of the United States, 5th in the 200 metres. He goes in lane 3 in this, the 21-year-old. In lane 4 for Argentina. Silver in the 200 metres here. His 4th all-time World Championship medal for Enan Barreto. In lane 5, 8th in the 200 metres in his championship debut for Anthony Rojas. He's in 5. In lane 6 for Brazil. Bronze in the 200 metres here this week for Fabio Bourdignon. It is a championship debut for Ukraine's Ivan Tiektukin, the 18-year-old. He is only going in the 100 metres here. And likewise for Andrej Bartošek of the Czech Republic, who we see come through at the age of 33. So, Igor Sviatov of Ukraine is already there. Can he be joined by a teammate in the final? Bourdignon, the fastest in the field this year, 12:33. Barreto, 3-time Paralympic bronze medalist. Bourdignon with the bronze in the 200 metres here. It could be a Brazil-Argentina showdown. That's happened before. Top 3 to go through to the final. plus the next two. Standing start for Bartoszek for the moment. Painton in 3, Barreto 4, Rojas 5, Bourdignon 6, Tetiuken 7, Bartoszek 8. They're away, and solidly away is Tetiuken, I have to say, brilliantly. And here goes Bourdignon for Brazil. The 200 bronze medalist Barreto's coming up for Argentina. And it's Barreto, it's Tetiuken in his first ever championship race. The 18-year-old wins in 12:38, and he is knocked 2.5 seconds plus off his lifetime best. He's not had too many races, I suppose for obvious reasons, being from Ukraine. Barreto took second in the end for Argentina after Bourdignon was up for a lot of that. Bourdignon takes third in the end. They're all through. Barreto came back very, very well. Took a while to get into his stride. It is the most impaired of the standing coordination impairment categories, this T35. And then when you go down to T34, it's the coordination impairment wheelchair racing. But Tetiuken for Ukraine, 12:37, went into this with a 14:94 lifetime best. Great start by Bourdignon.
Yeah, I think Tetiuken took that field by surprise. And what was interesting as well, he was one of the athletes at the start who chose not to use starting blocks. The use of starting blocks is optional. Not only can you not use them, you can use them in whatever way you want. And we saw Bartoszek there using just one of the blocks. And the whole point of starting blocks is to help you get up to top speed, to help you accelerate. And if they don't help you, then it's great to be brave and say, actually, I'm just going to break with tradition and do what suits me best. But I love that Tetiuken, I mean, he didn't need to keep pumping there. They were clearly top 3 that were going to go through. But on his debut, he thought, you know what, I'm going to take this. And that sets up for a very exciting final.
Well, you better believe it. Ivan Tetiuken, that was his first ever championship race, and he won it. He was 16 years and 3 weeks old when we had the last big championship, the Europeans. Well, he took it. He won it brilliantly, and Barreto of Argentina beats Bourdignon of Brazil. All 3 are in the final, and they'll be joined by the championship debutant from Littleton, Colorado, Matthew Painton, the 21-year-old. 2-time Paralympic high school All-American. He is there. Actually, he's the America's record holder in 815 as well, and he's useful in the 100.
Well, you can tell we got a break. The Icelandic clap is what's happening. Wait for the speed up. Not sure anything's been exported quite as well as this since those 2016 European Championships.
This is fantastic. They're training the crowd on how to do a long jump clap. I'm loving it. And actually, one of the goals that they stated for these championships is that they wanted to arrive at Paris 2024 with a crowd that was extremely educated and knowledgeable when it comes to para-athletics.
Yeah, the clapping continues here. And by the way, it's worth pointing out, I mean, the session started at 6:30, but they get the music acts out at 5:30, and that home straight is usually always full at 5:30. We've had Amel Bent and Yannick Noah and a few well-known French DJs the past few nights.
Federer on the opening night.
Federer on the opening night. And I came in this evening, and they were playing Girls and Boys from Blur, so that's always a winner. And a lot of Donna Summer.
AC/DC, the Australians have been happy with that. They played a bit of that. I heard them playing the other day.
And for those about to rock, we salute you, particularly if you're a T54.
Oh, I'm thunderstruck.
Different ages, different music generations.
We go across every genre, Steph. You'll learn, Matt. Young and old, male and female, doesn't matter.
I did appreciate your Queen Bee reference 2 nights ago. I will give you that.
My what reference? I beg your pardon?
Beyonce.
Oh,
Queen Bee.
yes, Queen Bee. Yes, bee hats.
A bee hat.
But there's only one bee.
There is only one B. There's only one letter for B these days.
You have to be B when your husband's Jay-Z. Eventually, you'll buy a vowel. Trust me.
This is what I've been dealing with all week.
We're here to please.
Wow. Well, that is well, do you know what? In fairness, that makes sense. That is Brent Lakatos' favorite hockey team, Montreal Canadiens. Looks like he has supporters all over the world. Winner of the men's T53 800 meters earlier this evening.
Just getting ready for the last final of the evening, the men's 100 T54. That's why the crowd are getting settled and, oh, don't break those sunglasses, or are they glasses? One of my children, when they were younger, picked up a pair of my sunglasses and snapped them. I had them for 2 days.
I've stopped buying expensive sunglasses because too frequently I would step on them with my artificial leg and not feel it.
I once bought a pair. The Sydney Olympics, I was back for that, and the Paralympics. I bought a brand new pair at the airport on the way through, and I went to a cash machine to take money out, put them on top of the cash machine, had them 2 days, left them there, went back 20 minutes later, and they were gone. Well done, me. Okay, back to the action. Men's 100 metres T54 final. And this should be good. Leo Pekatati. The European and world champion goes in this. And Peng Nua of Thailand, the Paralympic champion. Samuel Carter went through as one of the fastest losers, the former para swimmer and para basketball player, 4th in 2019. Can he go one better in this one? The first of the two Finns, will they be flying or not? Esa-Pekka Mattia, bronze in the European Championships of 2021. These the worlds, of course. Hu Yang from China, 6th in Tokyo 2020. Athelwet Peng Nua, he equalled the championship record in his heat. Silver in the 400 metres here already. He's the Paralympic champion. Next to him, Leo Pekatati, the European and world champion. 4 Paralympic golds, 5 world championship golds. It will be some race between Peng Nua and he. Jaman Alzani, 14:28, his lifetime best set this year. Saudi Arabia will go from lane 6. 23-year-old Zhang Ying of China in lane 7. And Akoma Tomoki of Japan. 14:61 in his heat, 8th in 2017. Didn't get out of the heats in 2020. We'll go from lane 8. So the final event on day 8, the men's 100 metres T54 final, to round things off at Stade Charlotte in the south of Paris. So away they go. Keep an eye out for the time at the end, because Leo Pekatati has got away very quickly, as has Samuel Carter on the inside. But here comes the fast finishing Athelwet Peng Nua. He's going to take it. Peng Nua's going to cross in front of Pekatati. 13:64. He's outside that world record. It is a wonderful time for Pekatati of 13:64. The championship record before was that 13:63. Pekatati in 13:77 with a season best, and Hu Yang raced through to take the bronze medal and a lifetime best of 13.84. Who finished sixth in the Tokyo Paralympics. He's made sure he's gotten to the medals this time, beating off his compatriot Zhang Ying with a season best for him. Samuel Carter with a season best in fifth as well. Pekatati got away quickest, and Samuel Carter on the inside as well. He's got a very fast start. He just couldn't maintain it as he went through, but look at the man there.
We've had three amazing 100-meter finals, and at the end they have all come down to top speed. And in some ways you can think of the wheelchairs as essentially single gear bicycles. And the problem is that the gear that you want at the start of the race is very different to the gear that you want at the end of the race. You can see them pushing on the hand rims, which are attached to the wheel, and that's what I mean by it being a single gear bicycle. And as you can see, if you can't change the gear, then you have to be able to change what your body's doing, whether that's in terms of power or hand speed. And it seems like Pang Nua has certainly been the one that has gotten the hang of that. And again, we just see top end speed winning out in these 100-meter races over quick starts.
Well, Pang Nua equaled the championship record a little earlier in his semi-final. He's not too bothered about the time now. He's taken the gold medal. Pekatati there, dethroned as the world champion. He'll be disappointed, but he'll be back again. You can see the disappointment. He can't really hide it. It's pretty easy to see, and I'm sure he is, but he's a wonderful champion, and he'll be back again. Thailand take another gold, though. The Frigers are here. The mascots for next year's Olympics and Paralympics.
It's worth remembering as well with Pang Nua, having equalled Leo Pekatati's world record this morning in the heats. He's 100th of a second outside now, so he's produced two of the three fastest times of all time.
So Pang Nua 13.64, Pekatati 13.77, a season best, and Hu a lifetime best with a bronze medal in third position. Season bests for both Zhang and Carter, but they finished outside the medals.
And yet again, what a night. Absolutely blistering stuff. And a lot of the great names have delivered once more.
21 finals on this day 8. We have 2 days remaining. Tomorrow I'm looking forward to the 4x100 universal relays. That will be something to look forward to. It is organised chaos. Trust me. Today, though, has been wonderful as always. Women's shot put F50 33. Asmahan Bouchardar, season best 7.06. Maria Strong with a new Oceania record, picking up the silver. And Oleksiuk of Poland with the bronze medal in that one.
Martina Coroni regaining the women's long jump title, T63, which she last won in 2017. A championship record of 5.18 m. Elena Kratter the silver for Switzerland. Vanessa Lowe gets the bronze for Australia.
So the opening heat of the men's 100 metres T54. Alzarani qualified through 14.54. Ikoma of Japan 14.61. A season best for Boccio in fourth position. There were two non-starters in this one that didn't get to the line. The second heat saw Pang Nua go of Thailand. He equalled the world record. Zhang going through in 14.28. Carter and Esa-Pekka Matila going through as the fastest losers across those three heats.
Leo Pekatati won the third heat, 14.08, ahead of Hu Yang to qualify for that final.
Men's javelin throw F13, visual impairment category. This one won by Daniel Pembroke with a new European champion. the man from Great Britain who's the Paralympic champion as well. Ali Perouge has to settle for a silver medal, and Aguilera Cruz, after being fourth on 2 occasions at major championships, the season best sees him finish with a bronze medal. Season bests for Gasimov and Cherney, lifetime best for Manjeet of India.
Ladies and gentlemen, the gates are now going to close. We will kindly request that you leave the stadium.
Now the men's discus F64. Gold and silver again for the United States. David Blair edging out Jeremy Campbell by 3 centimetres. Dan Greaves with the bronze medal for Britain. Harrison Walsh, 5th for Britain as well, 51.18.
Men's shot put F35 saw Norbekov of Uzbekistan, the world and Paralympic champion. He's also the world record and championship record holder. He couldn't break those marks in this one, but he did defend his title with a season best. Ura of Argentina with a season best, taking the silver medal, and Fu of China taking bronze in that one. Women's 200 metres T36. Daniel Aitchison adding to her silver in the 100 metres with a gold. Marley Lovell at her first major championships. She picked up a lifetime best and a silver to boot for an Oceania 1-2. And Nikolajczyk of Germany taking the lifetime best and a bronze medal for her as the bright lights kick in.
And Catherine de Bruyne did again after being edged into second in last night's 100 metres final. Her 4th gold of the week for Switzerland, championship record as well. Sammy Kinghorn with the silver for Great Britain, and Xu winning the Chinese battle for the bronze. That in T53. Swiss gold in the T54 as well from Manuela Schär, her 2nd of the week. Tatjana McFadden now with a silver medal to go with her 2 bronze. And now Maya Alphonse gets her 2nd medal for Mauritius, their 2nd all-time. But would it end there for them? Thousandths of a second for her, ahead of Leah Berkula of Belgium.
Men's 400 metres T20 saw the European, Paralympic and world champions going in this. Charles Anton Kouakou couldn't get there, the European champion. He missed out on the medals despite a new European record. Philippe of Mauritius picking up bronze. Tavares, dethroned as champion, takes silver with a season best. And Samuel Oliveira, the newcomer, at his first major championships with a championship record and the gold.
Men's 400 metres T12, the category of medium visual impairment, and a double between the 400 and the 1500 for Roy Chibabli of Tunisia. Acosta, the silver, and August Akakbulut, the bronze.
Men's 400 metres T13, Fukunaga of Japan with a new Asian record, taking gold in that one. Johannes Nambala, who was the world champion, the season best with silver, and Bermudez of Colombia, a new area record, 49.21 with the bronze.
The men's 800 metres T53 has been won for Canada by Brent Lakatos, a championship record 134.31, edging out Bongsakorn Pio of Thailand. Brian Seaman of the United States with the bronze.
2 heats in the men's 100 metres T52. This is the first of them. Ito of Japan going through in first place. Sam McIntosh of Australia and Christian Torres of Venezuela also going through. 18.09 for the Colombian.
Maxime Caraban having a week to remember in his championship debut. Gold in the 400 metres. The King has sent his congratulations and could do it again here. He's through to the final of the 100, along with Blum, Perrineau, Daly, Perez and Anthony Bouchard of Canada.
Well, in fairness, in the women's 100 metres T12, there was only going to be one result, a season best and a 32nd gold medal, where she's never lost the final in a major championship for Amara Duran. Perez Lopez taking the 2nd position after picking up silver in the 400 metres behind Duran, who made it a double. Folgado Garcia, a lifetime best, in bronze.
Athanasios Gavelis survived a yellow card for a false start by his guide, Demetrius Chrysafis The Paralympic champion taking the world crown here. An equal championship record, 10.93. Chikongo the silver for Namibia. Timothy Adolphe with a 4th bronze of the week for France.
2 heats in the men's 100 metres T35. The first of them saw the championship record holder and world champion who took gold in the 200 already here, Igor Sviatov, with a season best time in first. Carl Keyworth of Great Britain, a lifetime best for him. Zachary of the United States also going through, and Gonzalez of Argentina as a fastest loser through to the final.
The 16-year-old championship debutant Ivan Tetyukhin has taken 2.5 seconds plus of his lifetime best to win that second heat in 12.37. Bretto, Bourguignon and Paintin also qualifying for the final.
The final event of the evening saw the men's 100 metres T54 final heading out. It was Pang Nu, the Paralympic champion, up against Leo Pekatati, the European and world champion. Pang Nu won out. He added the world title to his Paralympic title. Pekatati is in the second place with a season best, and Hu Yang of China, a lifetime best of 13.84 with the bronze. Well, the sun has been shining. The lights have been bright as well, and the lights of the athletes have been even brighter. Gold, silver and bronze afoot. You look at that and you'd have sworn it's been like that all day with that weather. There was rain and cloud earlier this morning and between sessions as well. The crowd still piled in and they loved what they saw in what has been another epic day here in Paris.
It's actually a session where China did not win a gold medal tonight, but Brazil certainly have done. Samuel Oliveira in the 400 metres T20. The United States with that gold and silver in the discus. Switzerland scoring again through De Bruyne and Shah. Great Britain, great victory for Dan Pembroke after leaving sport to tour the world for a couple of years. He wins the Javelin here. Tunisia with 6. Uzbekistan, another excellent crown through Norbakov in the men's shot put. Australia now with 9 medals this week. Vanessa Lowe with silver and bronze actually in the long jump. Edge down in that. Martina Caroni with a long jump gold to add to that clean sweep of the 100 metres the other night. Daniel Aitchison, a glorious success for New Zealand. Canada have their first gold medal of the week. Brent Lakados has done it. 10 medals for Canada overall. Finland through Amanda Kataja in the 100 metres last night. The T54, great success that was for her. And Greek glory too for Athanasios Gavelis in the men's 100 metres T11. Mauritius, I have to say, what a story. Alphonse there with her 2 medals this week, and now they've managed to pick up a 3rd as well. It's a week they will never, ever forget. And why should they? Denmark still on their silver medal through Daniel Wagner in the long jump. France now have 4 bronze medals, 2 coming from Timothy Adolphe. Certainly delighted the crowds tonight.
Well, it's been some day. We've got plenty to look forward to as well. The skies are clear. And more are flying in for the final 2 days. And why wouldn't they? Because what we've seen so far as we lead towards Paris 2024 has been outstanding. 4x100 universal relay to look forward to tomorrow. 5 finals, 4 in the field, 1 on the track. From me, Tulson Tollett, Steph Freed and Will Downing, bye-bye.